It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacy's here, Jeff's here, Ant's here. We got a whole bunch of interesting things to talk about, including Stacy's encounter with a fence. She says, I blamed it on the Tesla. We'll also talk about ChatGPT and some of the interesting ways it's being used. And, of course, the debate over algorithms and Section 230. It's up to the Supreme Court now. All of that and more coming up on Twig. Once again, time for the Twit Audience Survey. The annual survey helps us understand you so we can make your listening experience even better. It only takes a couple of minutes, but it sure helps us out a lot. Completely optional, but if you could, please go to twit.tv/survey23. That's twit.tv/survey23. You have till the end of the month, but if you would do me a favor and do it today, I can stop mentioning it. twit.tv/survey23. And thanks in advance.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit. This is Twig, episode 699, recorded Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. Blame it on the Tesla. This Week in Google is brought to you by ACI Learning. If you love IT Pro, you'll love ACI Learning. ACI Learning offers fully customizable training for your team in formats for all types of learners across audit, cybersecurity, and IT. From entry-level training to putting people on the moon, ACI Learning has you covered. Visit acilearning.com to learn more. Thanks for listening to this show. As an ad-supported network, we are always looking for new partners with products and services that will benefit our qualified audience. Are you ready to grow your business? Reach out to advertise@twit.tv and launch your campaign now. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, a show we cover the latest news from Google, the Fediverse, the Facebookverse, the Twitterverse. Stacey Higginbotham's here. Stacey on IoT.com, her podcast with Kevin Toffel, the IoT podcast. Hello, Stacey.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Are you freezing cold? You've got a giant scarf.
I am so cold.
I wish I had a giant scarf. I like the look of scarves. I want to wear
You
a scarf.
could easily have a scarf.
I could, actually. I have plenty at home. I even have scarves, a few from faded startups. Like I have a chipmunk scarf. Remember chipmunk? Hipmunk.
Wow.
Not hipmunk. Not chipmunk. Hipmunk.
Hipmunk. This is an infinity scarf. So it's like a...
Also known as a circle.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Well, it's not a Mobius strip. Let's put it that way. Maybe it is. I don't know.
We could turn it into one. Maybe.
You could.
Yeah.
Just twist it. Mr.
Never
Jeff.
get it off.
That's the voice of reason. Jeff.
Reason.
That's not. Nobody's ever called you the voice of reason, have they?
No one ever does. No,
We've called him the voice of moral panic.
The voice of passion.
no I'm the one who calms moral panic.
The Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York.
A different choir.
We should get a pigeon choir to sing his name.
Yes, we should.
He loves his pigeons.
Yeah, he does.
And from points west, just slightly, it's Ant Pruitt. Actually points north. He's got his Clemson Infinity scarf. Look at that.
Just trying to be like Mrs. Higginbotham.
Yeah, I like it.
You will never achieve Mrs. Higginbotham status.
I know this. Futile effort.
Doesn't Mrs. Higginbotham sound like a role Robin Williams might have played in a film version of Higginbothams at large? All right, what is happening? First of all, the Twitter auction's over. Sorry.
If you that's already happened.
Did you get the bird? Did you do it?
No, somebody did. $31,000.
31?
Something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah. Wow. It ended just about 2 hours ago. So I didn't realize it was still on. I thought it was going to be over at 10 a.m. That's what the auction site said, but it kind of went on. They auctioned off really a lot of junk for the most part. 600 pieces of used furniture. a lot of kitchen stuff.
How much could Ant have gotten a coffee machine for?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Oh, they had some good coffee machines. I think they went early. Heritage Global Partners. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like there's still some items available. Oh, only a minute left to get these 6 Noel Bertoya stools. I'm kind of tempted to get this. 24 seconds left. Should I bid? It's $16,000.
No,
it's a conference room.
You have only one ad today. No,
it's a coin. It's a cone of silence that you can have your. But look how jammed in this conference room is. I wouldn't want to.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Imagine that given our current COVID and ventilation crisis.
But see, I wouldn't use it for that. I would turn it into a sound studio for just me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
record
cool?
your next audiobook.
I could put that in the backyard.
That's it.
It's over. Oh, I think it's sold for like more than 10 grand. There's still a few things left. They're winding down like now. If you wanted to get most of this stuff, I really wouldn't want. A multi-function video conference system. It fits right under your cabinet. Look how crappy this looks.
Does it come with its own chassis?
Yeah. Is the chassis not included? I don't know. Only $900 if you want to buy this. It's kind of crappy wiring. I was very unimpressed by the wiring used at Twitter. There is a sadness to this, though.
Oh, there is.
Here's the little one. This for half the price. I could just get a one-man soundproof.
That's for anybody who's in trouble. They go in there.
There were a lot of these. They say phone booth.
They're cleaning up and bringing in new stuff. Hopefully, right?
I don't think they're bringing in new stuff.
Oh, no, they're not bringing new stuff in. No, they're not even bringing in toilet paper, Ant.
I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's sad to me. Like when someday we do the same thing for our studios, it'll be kind of the end of an era.
Was that a monitor arm? Really? That was on there?
$1,500 for this human scale M2.1 with M Connect monitor arms.
You got to be kidding.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, it's 200 of them.
Oh my God!
It's 200
in a bag. This is the kind of thing that you put on your seawall to keep pigeons from landing. I don't. That's ridiculous. You'd have to figure out wherever. Oh, nicely stored, Twitter. Do you think Elon came and just tore them off the wall and threw them in a box and said, "Sell that"?
No, I think one of the people who he fired was probably in charge of that.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Boom. Oh, sorry.
You can say that.
That's terrible.
Nope.
In this
Soon,
case,
YouTube will let you do that. It's going to be okay.
Yes, yeah, YouTube was, for some reason, demonetizing people who swore in the first 15 seconds. It's okay. We're already more than 15 seconds in, so.
I didn't mean to. You can beat me out.
No,
I'm so sorry.
we'll bleep you. We always bleep because we want it to be family-friendly. A lot of those chairs, some of this stuff, I don't want. $1,300 for a standing desk? No.
Jeez.
Who's buying these? I guess some Repo
Well, they're
Depot.
commercial quality.
Stuff is expensive.
Yeah. Repo Depot is going to sell them in their warehouse.
Where's the coffee machine for Ant?
It's gone. No, somebody got it. It's gone.
Oh, you can't even see what it went for?
No. Once it's sold, they're gone.
Oh.
So they're slowly dwindling away.
The dregs of Twitter.
I don't know. It makes me sad, but Twitter seems to be continuing on somewhat. The biggest story this week is that they turned off the third-party APIs, and there are some very upset software developers. Craig Hockenberry, who does, was it Twitterific?
Yeah, they didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, they just turned it off last Thursday.
They were just
didn't he say that he was going to open it up? I can't remember.
You know, he also said he was going to quit. He said, I'll have a poll and I'll do what it says, and then he didn't.
Yeah.
So who the heck knows? But yeah, the guy who does Twitterific was really upset. Well, so was Paul Haddad, who does the Tapbots folks. They're doing Ivory, which is a Mastodon
for iOS.
But the Twitterific fella quit in a huff. He was very upset. It's kind of tragic. That's sad. Yeah, no communication still from Twitter's non-communications department. They fired everybody over there.
All right.
Yep.
So
that feels strategic
I don't know about
on the part of Elon Musk. He hates journalists. I mean, even Tesla for the longest. Well, they had a PR person. Actually, it was a friend of mine. And then,
tough job.
Yeah, then he left, and I don't know if he was replaced.
So I don't know about your feeds if you're looking at them still. On mine, I'm mainly on Mastodon, but I still look at Twitter. And so now I get tons of Lauren Boebert, whom I do not follow. But obviously, because one journalist I know follows them who I follow, then that is their excuse for putting her in my feed like crazy.
I've seen a lot of people complain. So they have this new For You tab, which they've eliminated the chronological feed as far as I can tell. Remember, they used to have that little twinkling button and you could choose from chronological or latest tweets. Now they've got, very much like TikTok, a For You and a following tab.
Same as Post Post has.
Post does that
well,
too.
my following is in...
Is it chronological?
Chronological.
So maybe this is...
It is in chronological.
Maybe this is roughly the same feeds as before. But I've seen a lot of people complain that the For You tab, which is not people you're following, it has gone completely right-wing. I haven't had that experience. So maybe it...
Oh, I have.
Maybe it's who you're following. I do see Elon.
I see less people I care about.
Yeah, mine is definitely not chronological. A. B,
you're following.
I have my list. I have my following. I have my list of book history wonks that I love, and as well as my COVID list. I used to, spend an hour going through my book history wonks list. Now, I think all around, he's showing me a lot fewer tweets.
Yeah. Honestly,
because there are not that many people who've left.
When I go to Twitter, because I don't do it that often, but I mostly go to see what's going on, not to see who's tweeting, but what's happening at Twitter. I'm mostly surprised at the people who are still here. Like, I don't honestly, really? I mean, I guess you all,
like Stacey,
like the three of you are still there. So
I'm still there. I will say this:
that.
I have been, I guess, quiet on it for at least 2 weeks now. And just been more of a broadcaster, if you will, over there. Because when I open it up, that whole For You stuff or whatever this algorithm that's in place now, it's been a little bit more depressing to me. And I just think I don't have time for it. It's either been more depressing or it's more stuff about celebrities who I could give two craps about. They're not doing anything for me, nor are they really doing anything for the world. So it's not important to me. And I'm sick of seeing that. So I just sort of been away, and I know people have been tweeting me and whatnot, and I'm sorry, just I really don't have a desire to hang out in there right now. Same even with Mastodon, quite frankly, because as I scroll through Mastodon, I'm still putting in filters because it's just so much depressing news and commentary happening over there for me.
You gotta follow some happier people, man.
I know. I gotta find some people that are
when I go on Mastodon, I'll tell you, and you can follow me. Perfect. I'm very cheerful.
We're waiting for you, Stacey.
I know.
We are waiting for you.
I
nice there.
We have some hosts. I try to encourage people, as you know, to move to Mastodon. I don't, but if you don't move, that's fine. And I have some hosts.
I'll do it eventually.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't. This is the beauty of Mastodon. There's no peer pressure. It's just, if you want to, you can, but it's just, it's there for you if you want.
Amen. It's just there.
It's just there. I kind of like that.
I do too.
I want to get away from this whole
FOMO crap.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's we haven't done a lot of Elon stories lately because I'm tired of it, and I know you are. But that is kind of, it's an interesting choice on his part. Even Jack Dorsey, who did this before, we talked about this before, when TweetDeck was starting to be a threat, and he was really worried that your buddy,
Bill Gross
was about to kind of buy up all the third-party apps. Jack Dorsey cut off the third-party API, and he says now it was a dumb move. It was a mistake, but a mistake that Elon, like all the mistakes that Twitter's ever made, is doomed to replay.
Make him again.
Yeah. Yep. And I feel really bad for people like Hockenberry, who does, I think it's a Twitterific, and Paul Haddad, who does Tweetbot, and the various folks who have third-party apps, all of whom have stopped working, Talon on Android. And especially weird because there's no communication. There was no, we're going to do this. There's no, we did this.
Well, do you think that it was actually purposeful or something broke?
The information
using it as an excuse.
So the information got a peek at internal Slack messages. Obviously, some unhappy Twitter employees sent them over.
That wouldn't be hard to
Yeah.
find.
And the Slack messages were all about, okay, we're going to turn it off. You know, it was the smoking gun that they did it. Here's the exclusive from Aaron Wu. Musk's Twitter intentionally suspended tweetbot third-party apps messages show, and they quote a number of a senior software engineer in the Slack on Thursday night, quote, third-party app suspensions are intentional. This was in the internal Twitter Command Center Slack channel used by employees to handle outages and interruptions to Twitter's service. So that's to let the other engineers know, no, this isn't a bug. This is intentional. A Twitter employee working on product partnerships asked Friday morning when employees could expect a, quote, list of approved talking points for questions from partners related to, quote, third-party clients' revoked access. There is no comms department, so nobody to write those talking points. A product manager responding on Slack that morning said the company had, quoted, started to work on comms, end quote, but there's no estimate when it was ready. Clearly it's not. None of the developers, as far as I know, have received any communications at all.
Well, same as, I was a paying customer of Twitter with the old Twitter Blue.
You were just cut off,
and,
right?
Just disappeared.
Have they taken away
mine
your
said
check?
It cut off, and it didn't cut
No.
off. It was still charging me, so I had to manually go in and fix it.
That's
And
almost worse.
yeah,
I still have my blue check. Let me see what it doesn't even do anything when I hover over it now. Didn't it used to?
No, if you click on it.
Oh, you have to click on it?
Yeah,
Oh, there it
you
is.
click
There
it.
you go.
Oh, see, I've gone back and forth between whether I'm notable or it's just we don't know and it's left over. So I'm now
Mine is
currently notable.
leftover.
I'm currently notable.
You
again.
are currently notable.
But I wasn't for a
Oh,
while. It
fancy
goes
you.
back and
I might
forth.
or may not be.
And I
Never-
violated.
Yeah, I may or
look
may
how,
not be.
Look how I violated the precepts. I have the link to my Mastodon in my name.
Oh, look at that.
I only have one tweet which says, going forward, reach me at twit.social. And it has a link to my Twit. So I'm wondering if I'm getting special treatment. Okay, in my mind, are you ready?
Trump.
Are you ready for the solipsistic interpretation, the self-centered interpretation? In my mind, Elon feels bad that he called himself Chief Twit. And he's being nice because he doesn't want to, he felt bad about that.
He doesn't want you to sue.
Talk about
I was about to
self-centered.
say, that man doesn't need a lawsuit. He's got plenty.
He doesn't need more. And I don't think he
he worries about
No,
lawsuits.
he doesn't worry about lawsuits. There's the beautiful planter, the @ planter, which I can't
that's
remember,
kinda
but it
cute.
went for tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know the exact price, but it went for a lot. Mostly because it's history.
Also, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. It just is sad. Anyway, it's over now. You want to be scared by robots?
Yes.
This is not scared. This is cute.
This is cute.
Yeah, this is cute.
Boston Dynamics.
Why-
Jarvis.
It's time.
Oh.
Let me pause this and explain. It says it's Boston Dynamics tweets. It's time for Atlas, which is its bipedal robot, to pick up a new set of skills and gets hands-on. Do you have my audio? Let me make sure it's on. And we will play
The guy
this.
just says, I forgot my tools. That's all.
Okay, so
I forgot my tools again.
So he's pressing a button on a tablet. There's Atlas down on the ground. The guy's up in the air. Atlas is looking around with his laser pointer, finds a board, puts the board, backs up, then jumps and turns around. That's kind of cool. Puts the board on a scaffold, and now
Look how he walks. It's
he
really kind of
runs.
dainty.
He picks
Right,
up
it's
a little
kind of
DeWalt bag with tools.
Spirit in the step.
Yeah, he is. He's looking.
Some pep in his step.
He's got pep in his get on. Ho! Chukunk. Hup, hup, hup. He throws the toolkit up.
Wow.
Then
Look first.
Then pushes over a box. Jumps onto the box. Jumps.
But wait, there's more.
Whoa! Does a flip onto the ground.
Man.
I saw somebody tweet, I'm
Look at
studying
Jeff
this
Jarvis.
carefully, looking for weak points for when the Terminators come. It looks like those ankles
tough.
might be might be a place you
You
could
just try
target.
it.
Yep.
Achilles heel?
Look how skinny they are on the
Rim
ankles.
shot.
So just a tip for everybody, shoot for the ankles.
The ankles.
The rest of it looks pretty impervious.
Not the gut, not the torso.
No, definitely not the torso.
Hit the ankles. I would have liked to have seen the testing for this, as it went up to push the wall down. Like, what were some of the other situations that were right there? Is it pushed the wall down and it knew, I can actually land on top of that wall down there on the ground. What happened if it tried to push, I don't know,
I'm going to guess that they had the same guy directed the 2016 Tesla self-driving demo. And there might have been
that guy.
a couple of takes, okay? Might have been. So you remember, and this was tragic, the engineer in Silicon Valley who crashed into a divider and died in a fiery crash in 2018. His family is suing, and they got a statement from Tesla's director of Autopilot software, Ashok Elaswamy. Under oath, in a deposition, he talks about the video that is still on the Tesla website. The video begins with the caption, "The person in the driver's seat is only there for legal reasons. He's not doing anything. The car is driving itself." This is the famous Paint It Black video. You see the Tesla Model X. By the way, I had a Model X at this exact time, and even I knew you can't do this. The heavily edited video shows the Model X driving around, stopping for road junctions and red lights. Nope. All the while, the human has his hands near but not on the steering wheel. Upon reaching a Tesla facility, the human leaves the Model X, which goes off to park itself, avoiding running over a pedestrian in the process. At the time, Elon tweeted, "Tesla drives itself, no human input at all, through urban streets to highway to streets, then finds a parking spot." He went on to add 8 cameras, 12 ultrasonars, and radar, all flush-mounted and body color. Beauty remains. Well, in this deposition, Elaswamy said the intent of the video was not to accurately portray what was available for customers in 2016. And again, as a customer, I couldn't get it. It was to portray what was possible to build into the system. 3D maps were used to pre-program the route where to stop. And during the self-parking demo, the Tesla crashed into a fence. Which they edited out. I think this is going to be pretty persuasive to the jury because, of course, it was a autopilot.
My Tesla crashed into a fence.
Oh, really?
Although,
was it self-driving?
No, I was driving. It was a pedal error. It was a really terrible
Tesla
crash.
did, or you did? What's the responsibility here, Stacy? Blame the machine. Yes, we always want to blame the machine. The poor machine. You're told what to do.
By the way, if it crashes into a fence, it really goes all the way through that fence. It's a very powerful car.
Wow. Was this in Austin?
It was in Austin. It went over a parking hump. Again, pedal error. So it went over the parking hump, smashed. I'm so glad no one was on the other side. I'm so glad there wasn't a dog. And it took out that whole fence. They thought I was driving a Hummer. They're like, "Were you driving like a big truck or like a Hummer?"
Well, that's, by the way, something to remember. And somebody recently said this is a problem. These cars are very heavy, heavier than they look because
they're heavy,
of the batteries.
and there's a ton of they come off the line super fast. So you got a lot of. What's the word I'm looking for?
Torque. Yeah, if you accidentally hit the accelerator instead of the brake, it's not going to slowly accelerate. It's going to leap forward.
That whole thing, because it's like 3,000 pounds. So yeah, it was pretty awful.
The big
was it a home or what?
It was someone's home. Oh. And then I had to knock on the door and they weren't home, so I had
the car hit your fence.
I'm driving a Tesla. It's not my fault.
Not my fault. The car did it.
I did not tell them I was driving a Tesla. I just was like, "Oh yeah, it was just really scary."
That happens a lot. People hit the wrong pedal. That's actually very, very common.
Yeah, it's just so much more deadly when you're driving one of these cars. Hush your face, Jeff.
Really old.
Hush your face.
Well, how much damage was there to your car?
So much.
Really? Oh,
I mean, not really. It was just expensive. It wasn't like you could drive. I drove the car away.
Back over the hump.
And how quickly were you able to get it fixed? That was one of the reasons I didn't buy
that was like a
Tesla.
3-month thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot.
There was when I had it, a long wait for parts, and I didn't like that. I thought that made me nervous. So
Oh, Scooter X says my Tesla actually weighs 2 tons.
4,561 pounds. Who was it? I just saw a story about that. The Teslas and all of these EVs are heavy. That's why they want to ban them. In what state is that?
Wyoming.
Okay,
well,
Wyoming,
that's not
no.
why. That's not
That's
why.
not
Leo.
Although the heaviness is good because they don't flip as much.
They're very low center of gravity.
They're
yeah.
nice to drive on the
love
road.
them.
But you don't want to be hit by them.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I mean, look at that bridge video we had last week. One car goes up because the Tesla's an immovable
It's
object.
an immovable object. Yeah.
I'm not moving.
It's
I'm
why
self-not-driving.
it's why everybody should drive one. So then you'll be safe.
That's the SUV argument.
Well, that's
yeah.
the
your
logic that
logic.
gets us these incredibly tall SUVs and trucks.
Right. Well, even better, everybody should drive an electric Hummer. Then you'd really be safe.
Wow.
Are there electric cars?
Back.
Oh yeah. And the battery in the electric Hummer weighs more than most cars. Just the
Good
battery. It's huge.
Jeez.
What's the range on that sucker?
Oh, I don't know. It's I mean, if you're going to drive a Hummer, I guess it's marginally better to drive an electric Hummer. I've seen them. They're very
They're
big.
massive too.
Yeah.
So can I ask you about Wyoming? Because I was curious about
Oil.
like you can't drive through them or you just can't sell them in Wyoming. Is that
They want
the
to
plan?
outlaw selling them. It's oil. It's all
Oh,
oil.
okay.
But it's just
It's a-
one
it's a-
guy in Wyoming.
Yeah, it's
Well,
all
actually
it is.
6 of them.
Okay.
6 GOP
That's all you have is 10
lawmakers.
people there anyway. So
Hey, but one loud person is all it takes in a lot of this stuff now.
And I think it's a very much a GOP talking point because in California, they're going to ban gas vehicles. So
we're gonna
ban, in the same year, by the way, 2035 sales of electric vehicles.
it's both. They're both
yeah, it's
crops.
bogus.
Here are the very
Yeah, show
diverse,
them.
very diverse group of members of the state of Wyoming's legislature.
Oh, that's a hair dye job. Oof. Oof.
There's one young guy.
Man.
That's real hair.
But
this
the
guy-
beard,
No,
you
I
don't
know.
dye the beard. It just doesn't work. Your hair's auburn and your beard is Goodyear tire black. No.
Well,
You're tired.
one of the senators' name is Brian Boner, and
But that's not funny because we are mature.
there's nothing funny
Ben,
about that.
there's
but
nothing
he
funny
was
about that,
He was
no.
on Fox. That's how I know his name. He told the Cowboy State Daily, "I am making zero of this up. I just want to say." He says, one might even say tongue-in-cheek, but obviously it's a very serious issue that deserves some public discussion. I'm interested in making sure that the solutions that some folks want to the so-called climate crisis are actually practical in real life. I just don't appreciate it when other states try to force technology that isn't ready. The legislature would be saying, if you don't like our petroleum cars, well, we don't like your electric cars. I don't think
Our
the chances of this
petroleum cars.
passing are very high.
No.
You know what? Let them do it.
Yeah.
Let them shoot themselves in the proverbial foot. I have no problems with that.
Yeah,
And the proverbial tire.
it's
Or the
it's another
proverbial.
one of those performative
Yeah.
legislative things. By the way, I didn't realize this, but Twitter has admitted it's breaking third-party apps because of our long-standing API rules. They didn't say what rules the developers had violated, but apparently Twitter is enforcing. This was tweeted yesterday. I missed it. So I should check Twitter every day, shouldn't I?
You
I put it in the
should.
rundown too. If you check that, you'd see it.
That's where I saw it. Twitter is enforcing its
good.
long-standing API rules that may result in some apps not working. So that's the talking points. They apparently have come up with them. Craig Hockenberry, creator of Twitterific, said we have been respectful of their API rules as published for the past 16 years. We have no knowledge that these rules have changed recently or what those changes might be. Tapbots says Tweetbot's been around for over 10 years. We've always complied with the Twitter API rules. If there's some existing rule we need to comply with, we'd be happy to do so if possible, but we do need to know what it is. This is bogosity. They're just making stuff up now. Did you know that Jennifer Lopez was the reason Google created Google Images. See, I saw this headline, Jeff, and I didn't even read the story. I thought that's link bait if ever I heard it. This is according to a well-known website called IFL Science.
There was that. But at least it had a quote in it.
Google Images was created because of J-Lo. This was her plunging neckline dress from
the Oscars.
No, it's the Grammys. See that Grammy?
The Grammys, I'm sorry. What year was it?
2000.
2000.
42nd Grammy Awards. A low neckline dress drew a baffling amount of coverage around the world. She said, it didn't seem that out there to me. It was a good-looking dress. I had no idea it was going to be such a big deal. But it didn't just impact regular media, according to IFL Science. It had a lasting effect on Google's search engine because if you think about it,
people wanted to just search for the dress.
They searched the dress.
And Google didn't know how to look for dresses.
This is a quote.
So it had to understand images.
From Eric Schmidt. He said this in 2015. Mm-hmm. People wanted more than just text. This first became apparent after the 2000 Grammys, where J-Lo wore a green dress that caught the world's attention. At the time, it was the most popular search query we had ever seen, but we had no surefire way of getting users exactly what they wanted, which was, of course, a picture of J-Lo in that dress. Google image search was born. Well, if Eric Schmidt said it, then it must be true.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. They even talk about it. They referenced it recently in one of their I/O presentations.
Oh,
probably. Yeah, one of the,
kind
they
of
talked
a cool
about.
Story.
It is a cool story.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I put it in there.
Yeah,
I'm glad you noticed it.
So this Google engineer explains this this is in GQ, a story from a couple of years ago by Rachel Tastian. She wore this actually in Grammys in 2000 and again in 2020 with Donatella Versace at the Women's Wear collection. And she actually, in this article, in the GQ article, they actually quote an engineer, Kathy Edwards, director of engineering and product for Google Images. She says, it wasn't overnight, but it was definitely the impetus. It's completely true, she said in a Google Hangout on Friday, but it's also not the case that this happened and the next day we said, oh, we should build an image search engine. At that point, she said the company was only 2 years old. 2000, it was only 2 years old. Wow.
What?
With a very small number of employees, and everyone at the time was, of course we need to build an image search engine, but they weren't sure how much priority to give it. When the Lopez dress, oh, I see. This was when it was only 2, not in 2000, but before then.
Okay, thank you.
When the Lopez dress, that makes more sense. Because when did Google start? 90, I don't remember.
98.
So it was 2 years old. When the Lopez dress moment happened in February 2000, quote, it became so clear that this was important, but they didn't have anyone to do it, end quote. So Google hired that summer a recent college graduate, Weikon Ju, as an engineer, partnered him with Susan Wojcicki, current CEO of CEO. She was then a product manager.
I'll be.
And they worked together to build it. So Susan Wojcicki was one of 2 people developed image search and single-handedly almost launched it in July 2001. Now, actually, that's of more interest to me than the fact that it was J-Lo's dress, that it was Susan Wojcicki.
Right.
He was one of the 2
yeah.
developers.
Because we're geeks. Yeah, we care about that.
And she's now
I also care about
executive.
her dress.
She's CEO.
You care about the dress?
It's
a nice dress.
It's a historical dress.
Actually,
is it common for executives to have started out as part of a development team? Is that fairly common? I mean, I know we have Zuckerberg, but is it for all of these big
the
tech
Wojcicki
companies?
family is kind of interesting because her sister, of course, is 23 and me.
Yes. And who was married to
Schmidt?
No.
Larry.
Sergey.
Larry. Which one?
Oh,
and
Sergey,
there's
Larry,
3 sisters.
Uma, Oprah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's 3 sisters. The other sister.
Well, and their mother is quite amazing too. I know her. She's an educator at Palo Alto High.
Esther. Yeah.
Esther. She's wonderful.
Yeah, she's quite well known as well. In fact, it was in their garage.
That
right. Susan and Janet first got started. They were high school students in Palo Alto. Yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting story, isn't it? So her sister, is it Janet? Sergey Brin, Anne Wojcicki was married to Sergey, and then she founded 23andMe. And then Susan, her sister, of course, is currently CEO of YouTube. And quite successful, I might add.
And the third, I think, is a professor or something.
Yeah. They grew up on the Stanford campus, just like Samuel Bankman-Fried. See, you could go one way or the other.
A new blogger, a new Substacker. He is.
I can't believe he's got a Substack. Of course he has a
can.
Substack. Yeah, of course. Of course. Wojcicki's grandfather was a People's Party and Polish People's politician elected a member of parliament during the 1947 Polish legislative election. And her grandmother was a librarian at the Library of Congress, responsible for building the largest collection of Polish material in the United States. Very accomplished family.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
And just for you, here is a picture of the 2020 version of the dress worn by, worn by J-Lo. And that's Donatella Versace she's going down the runway with.
Yeah, if someone handed me something I wore 20 years ago, was like, try to fit, let's do this again, I'd be like, no, thank you.
J-Lo's pretty amazing in that regard, I gotta say. Why? Okay, I'm gonna click on this. I don't know why. It says Leo's wake-up call.
Well, we talked about this last week, that you could get it in your other devices, but now they're going to allow you to do a custom alarm sound. So I think that, Leo, you should record an alarm sound people can put on their Google devices, and you can wake up Twitville.
Well, in theory, it's allowing you to record your own voice.
I know, but I think you should do it.
I could offer it for download to our club.
Yes. Hey, folks.
How would
exactly.
I do it? How would I do it?
Exactly. You have all kinds of technical smart people around you.
I don't know how to talk out loud into a microphone. There was a Stephen Fry talking alarm clock where he would wake you up in his character as Jeeves. Do you remember that? Let me see if I can find the sound of that. It's the "Good morning, sir" talking alarm clock. Oh, it's no longer for sale. But he would say, oh, it was so funny what he would say. Let me see if I got to play this for you. Because I would say this. I could say this. But frankly, I would, if I were you, I would, here we go. Here's somebody playing it into their YouTube. You hear birds.
Excuse me, madam. Your horoscope advises a demonstration of courage in the face of adverse circumstances. Very good, madam.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Excuse the familiarity.
Here's another one.
Oh, there's my favorite one.
Okay, Jeeves, all right.
The favorite one is him alerting the media. Wait a minute. Let's see if I can find this. You would think the people selling this device for $100 would offer you some samples, but I guess they want you to buy it first. There's 126 different messages. Excuse me, sir, I'm so sorry to disturb you, but it appears to be morning. Very inconvenient, I agree. I believe it is the rotation of the earth that is to blame, sir. Or, this is my favorite. Shall I inform the news agencies that you are about to rise, sir?
Okay, chat room. What do you want Leo to say to wake you up in the morning?
I think I'd rather have Stephen Fry, to be honest with you. I didn't realize there was 126 different ones.
That's amazing. That must have been a fun recording session.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm sorry to disturb you, sir. I want a Jeeves. Everyone should have a Jeeves, don't you think?
This morning.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Someone in our chat room says they have those two alarm clocks for male and female currently in storage.
For male and female.
Well, I guess good morning, madam, or good morning, sir.
Oh, I see.
Good morning, madam.
Why are they in storage, mime artist? Why don't you use them every morning?
After a while, you get very tired
of
it. Think Geek used to sell it, and then they got bought.
They're very ugly, though, says mime artist.
Oh, I think they look pretty good. I'm delighted to say you have survived another night.
That's the best.
You didn't get it for the look. You get it for the sound, right?
Yeah. You don't get it for the look.
I mean, it still has to sit in your bedroom somewhere, though.
Yeah.
So, I can appreciate.
All right. Moving right along.
And I think you should run with this. I think this is a new club benefit.
I like the idea, sir. So
I think
let's get to it.
The other day,
127 different ways.
The other day, after the flooding in Northern California, we had to get home, and we decided to use Waze to help us wend our way through this, streets to get home. And a very pleasant voice was giving us directions, and I suddenly realized, oh, that's me. Lisa said, "You didn't know? You don't." I said, "Yeah, I just sound like a nice voice." I didn't realize it was me because I had recorded years ago. I'd recorded a whole set of directions for our Waze. In fact, I posted them somewhere. They were somewhere, so people could download them. I don't think anybody did. But wait a minute, that's me. I'm a little clueless sometimes.
Wait a minute. That sounds. Is that one of those narcissist moments? Oh man, this guy's.
It's like anti-narcissist moment.
Great.
I didn't say like that sounds good. I said in my mind, I did remember saying, "Oh, that's a nice voice they chose."
He sounds friendly.
He sounds friendly. I like that guy. I don't know who he is. I like that guy.
I like me.
I like me. So Twitter is not dead. In fact, it looks like dozens, according to Axios, dozens of media companies have content deals for 2023.
Yeah, Jesus, can you believe it? Even ones where they still haven't Twitter still hasn't let their journalists back on. They're still doing stuff.
NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, NASCAR, PGA Tour, CBS Sports, Turner Sports, ESPN, Fox, Univision, Telemundo, The Wall Street Journal, NBCU, Reuters, Axios. Oh, Axios is in this list.
Yes.
Interesting. They didn't mention, hey, we're doing it too. Bloomberg, Forbes, Condé Nast, USA Today.
Amazing.
Paramount, Disney. So don't, Twitter, for whatever it's going through, still and then this is, by the way, the answer to the rhetorical question, why are you guys still on there? It still carries huge amount of cultural weight. It's not
buzz. It's all buzz.
Yeah, it's far from
well, we're in the business of buzz. These are the houses that hype built. That's why they exist.
I'm kind of feel very fortunate that I no longer have to worry about buzz, and I can get off of there. And it's not, of course, I had more than 500,000 followers, although I know that number is dwindling. So any sensible, my son's like yelling at me, what are you getting off there for? You got 500,000 followers. No, because I don't want to be there. And I don't have to.
I'm getting a lot of new followers that I don't think are real people, or if they are real people, I don't know if I want to engage with them.
Isn't that funny that,
and I'm not trying to,
for all Elon said about bots, he's done nothing to discourage him.
Yeah. Cause I'm just like, half of them are like, MAGA lover or something. And I'm like, are you real? And if you are real, why are you following?
I am down.
I've said the same thing. I've gotten 50, a lot of interesting followers that I'm like, what makes me interesting for you to follow me? But then with the whole third-party API access, shouldn't that kill some of the bots?
Maybe.
Shouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm down about 10%. Which is fine. Like I said, since
I have not moved. I've been at 175 for 5 years.
It might be completely organic because I've said I'm not tweeting, I'm not doing it, so I might be completely organic.
But revenue, you'll see there, is down 40%. A Twitter executive told Twitter employees.
Get ready. Donald Trump, according to NBC, is coming back to Twitter.
Oy.
So it's not just
I didn't follow him then. Won't follow him now.
Yeah, it's not just those brands.
So, who did you say that was?
It's this little company called NBC.
Again, it's all about buzz.
They're
going to broadcast something, and people are going to talk about it good, or especially if it's really bad. So why not be there? They're going to continue to get attention and eyeballs.
If you're running for president, which Trump says he is, You got to be on Twitter. I note that Joe Biden posts all the time on Twitter, at least daily, right?
But what about Truth Social though? What any word on that? And
he's got a contractual obligation to stay off a competitor for a certain amount of time, but not that he ever pays attention to contracts. Let's say that.
I wasn't going there.
By the way, he's in good company with Elon Musk, isn't he? Who has not paid his bills.
But there was a study, Leo, in December, released December 7, 2022 by Karsten Müller and Carlo Schwartz. That had they looked at Twitter after Trump was kicked off. The toxicity of tweets sent by Trump followers relative to the representative sample dropped by 25% after Trump disappeared.
Yeah.
The effect is larger for pro-Trump tweets, of course. It resulted in it reduced the total number of tweets, suggesting a drop in engagement.
NBC also is saying that Trump yesterday formally petitioned Meta to unblock his account. Remember that the Meta supervising board say they should
advisory.
They said they should not make it indeterminate, and they should set a time when they decide.
And I think that they said it was January 6th, 2023.
It's about around now, yeah.
1 year later, or 2 years later.
Just as Meta is trying to get as far away from any controversy in politics as they can. There was a big story a week ago about how they tried to get rid of all politics, and it kind of backfired because it meant that only crappy outlets were there. But they're trying to get away from. They just want puppies and parties and legless virtual human beings. That's all they want.
A Meta spokesperson, according to NBC, declined to comment about Trump beyond saying the company, quote, will announce a decision in the coming weeks in line with the process we laid out. Again, their advisory board said you should reinstate him 2 years later, or they said
no, they didn't say
they said you should set a date, and then
set a date when you decide.
I believe Facebook said Facebook. This is again according to NBC News. Ultimately decided to institute a limited ban on Trump that would come up for review. After 2 years, starting January 7th. So they're reviewing it right now.
And the oversight board had another decision yesterday, which is interesting.
What was that?
That is that they said that you have to reconsider your no naked female breast rule.
This is why I let you tell us this story.
Yes. Mainly in interest of trans people.
Wait a minute.
Not nursing moms?
Wait a minute.
Well, that's already been there. They had people who were transitioning
who wanted to show their breasts.
Yes.
And the board said, well, you ought to let them.
Yep. And you ought to reconsider your whole...
It is kind of a double standard. I mean, a man
really
can
is.
show his
Clearly
breasts.
Yep. I remember this
Well,
story.
it's a nipple standard because nipples are what's like pornographic according to...
But male nipples are not.
FCC or somebody.
Right. Oh, I get it.
I mean, it's
very American.
Honestly,
puritanical.
if you ever saw pictures of just nipples, you would be hard pressed to say that's a male nipple or a female nipple.
True.
In some cases.
Really?
Somebody, I can't remember who. Somebody did that. I can't remember if it was Instagram or whatever. And it was just like a bunch of nipples. I mean, if they're hairy, okay, maybe, but. I'm sorry we got into this conversation. I'm really deeply regretting it. Oversight board overturns Meta's...
You're like Stacy in the car.
See,
you're going to try to blame the story or blame me. No, you did it. We were going fine. We were doing all right, and you went into the fence.
Went into the fence.
All right, but what about this?
Try another one.
Don't we have another story we could talk about?
Yes, he's funny.
Yes, we are moving on.
He's looking desperately for one.
No, in fact, there was a story, and I don't have it in front of me, but go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask what happened with the 2:30 news.
Yeah, we could do that. It just was a related story that I saw on Tech Dirt. I'll find it. That it turns out social media the Russian plan to overturn the 2016 election.
No impact.
didn't really have any impact. Now, they didn't say anything about cable news, which I think probably had some impact. But as far as this study could tell, social media did not change anybody's opinion or vote.
26, sir.
Oh, it is in here. I
thought you had it in yours.
It's in mine.
You just ignored it because you thought you had nothing.
I did. I just went right to yours.
Stuff.
Mike Masnick writing, no, of course, Russian Twitter trolls did not impact the 2016 election. I feel a little vindicated because, and this was on my radio show back in like November or December 2016. I said, that's absurd. It doesn't make sense that a troll farm tweeting or posting on Facebook could change anybody's vote.
Could change the minds of people, right? How weak-minded and idiotic we are as society if that's all it takes.
Right.
The study, which is
that's the third person effect, which is I'm immune. It won't affect me, but all those idiots out there, it's going to affect them.
Yeah. The study published in Nature looked at whether or not Russian trolls on social media had any impact. They said, finally, we find no evidence of a meaningful relationship between exposure. They didn't deny that there was a Russian foreign influence campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, that's obvious. But they said there was no evidence of a meaningful relationship between exposure to that media campaign and changes in attitudes, polarization, or voting behavior.
It's the same as the Cambridge Analytica. Sheer BS. They had no impact on anything. And every researcher I know at the time said this is ridiculous.
Yeah. The problem with Cambridge Analytica was merely that Facebook allowed them to snake a bunch of information about us. But Cambridge Analytica all along
wasn't in violation of
their
Facebook's
capabilities.
Rules, actually.
Right. It was third-party friends of friends information, which Facebook eventually did shut down. Yeah. I mean, look, a study is only as good as, the methodology and so forth. I don't know.
Josh Tucker is very good. This is a very good group.
Okay.
I know this group personally.
Yeah. But it kind of, honestly, I always thought that. It was in politics to say it, but I always thought, I think watching a lot of Fox News might have impacted you, but I think reading a bunch of tweets from a Russian troll farm, I'm not surprised that didn't have much of an effect.
But then there's that whole element of something like a news source such as Fox and whomever are
trustworthy.
Up
it's trustworthy.
Well, they're pulling tweets, and I would also say the more people around you that are behaving in a certain way, that maybe at first it's like, ooh, that's extreme, but the more you see it, the less extreme it is.
Yeah.
And then Fox could pick that up.
It does seem
the
case.
What they say about QAnon as well?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Nobody said that QAnon was not influenced by social media. I mean, that clearly started in and was fostered by social media completely. Although I know a guy, it was at his yoga class, but...
yeah, that's the thing. And let's not forget there was another study that said YouTube was supposedly what took you down the rabbit holes.
Yeah,
and a study found out that almost all of the traffic to these radical videos came from links from outside.
Oh,
it wasn't the algorithm that did it. YouTube was a repository.
They were
of these
hosting
videos,
them.
and that's a problem.
Yeah,
but it wasn't YouTube that radicalized people. They came in radicalized, looking for the good stuff.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm printing out tons of this research right now for the next book, so I'm going to bore you.
I don't know. I mean, I see my child on TikTok and YouTube because once it figured out that they were a teenager, they started showing a lot of there's a word for the anorexia kind of stuff.
Eating disorder videos or...
Yeah, a lot of eating disorder videos and kind of stuff that... I know that they have never been any sort of interested in.
Do you think she might be influenced, though, by seeing a lot of those, that maybe she'd say, I should try not eating?
No, they decided to uninstall TikTok, actually.
Oh, wow. Good for her.
Miss Stacy, so those videos, were they just warnings about the eating disorder or
no,
showing it as a
they're
fad
young
or a
girls
trend?
who are showing what they eat in a day. And then,
gotcha.
talking about how much they exercise and tips if you eat an apple and 7 almonds and then a gallon of water, you'll be full all day long.
Yeah, there was hashtag Thinspiration. Hashtag
Thinspo, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, hashtag Skinny Check. I could see, it'd be easy. I could see especially a young person could go, I'll try that. I mean, I tried intermittent fasting for a while. It's easy to say, "Oh, that sounds good. That sounds reasonable. Maybe that would help me."
Yeah, you did some crazy stuff.
TikTok
I still do crazy stuff, but mostly it's just the internet opens you to new ideas, and some of them are not good ideas. Remember when people used to get in giant vats of super cooled liquid?
Oh, they still do.
They buy those now. The plunge pools, the cold plunge pools are now like a thing in the Wall Street Journal. You can read all about.
I would love to have one myself. I miss them.
You just need a big old trash can.
I'm not talking about an ice tub. I mean, I'm talking about really cold. Kevin Rose used to get in like 20 below. I mean, it wasn't just ice.
Oh, like cryotherapy?
Cryotherapy, yeah.
They were cryo tanks.
Oh, there's still cryotherapy.
Yeah, but it was a fad. I think it kind of...
Oh, I never saw the fad.
There were actually storefront places you could go. Remember that?
There's one near me.
Yeah.
It's still around?
There's one, yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a new one.
I know ball players do cryotherapy, but I mean, it's like licensed outfits, you know?
Well, also, if you're a pitcher,
even have it there.
Yeah, if you're a pitcher and your arm is getting inflamed and you want to put in an ice bath, I can understand that. Although there's more and more evidence that's not a good thing to do. But okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, and this will be my pro tip for everyone. If you end your showers with like 30 seconds to a minute of cold water.
No.
Okay, just give me a second. Give me a second. It does make you happy.
I love it.
It totally, and your hair will look
It makes you happy when you stop.
Well,
I love it.
It helps with your like mental happiness. It really does.
Go to Finland. Fine. They do that in Finland, and that's fine. I've done the sauna.
You do that?
I don't do that part.
When I have morning showers and I do my whatever I need to do in the shower, I always rinse off with cold as long as I could stay in there. And I swear that first 5 seconds, it's painful. But then after that, it's almost like just happy gas.
Half of the Twig team take cold showers.
The younger half.
And I feel great. And then again, I love the ice bucket stuff. I miss those from China.
Actually, Leo and I are 38 and 39. We just don't take cold showers.
Just help
exactly.
With the elbows
we just look old. Wait a
and
minute. All right, I'll try it tomorrow. So what do? You're in the shower.
First 5 seconds.
It's hot.
Yeah, just the last 30 seconds.
And then you just turn the knob all the way to the cold.
Yep,
all the way to cold.
Just stay there,
scream,
and and bear it. And
you may have to scream.
You do scream.
Scream if it comes to you.
The scream is part of it, probably, right?
Yeah, you will scream.
Like, ah! Sorry.
Ask Queen Pruitt.
That's your wake up sound, folks.
Queen Pruitt has done
get that
it
every
too,
day.
It's the funniest thing because she's never tried anything like that, and I can remember her giving it a go the first couple of times, and it got loud.
She probably screamed, "Edge, you're wrong."
Yeah.
So, what do you think the mechanism is that makes this work?
Well, some
it's the
people
same
say
as sauna stuff.
CNS.
It activates the mammalian dive reflex, but I don't know if that's true.
Dive! I'm going to dive.
What
does CNN say?
It triggers the lymphatic system in the body.
So the lymphatic system is your kind of immune system. It's what fights off.
This is from a site that's even less reliable than the one I gave you for J-Lo's dress.
Yeah.
But it says that it allows for all toxins and body waste to be flushed out of the body.
Stop.
As soon as you say toxin, I don't buy that.
No,
exactly.
It does make your blood vessels
constrict.
Thank you. I was like, this one. And I think it does put out some sort of endorphins because
it does.
You feel good.
It fires off. I don't remember if it's dopamine, but it's definitely some happy gas. You feel a difference.
Here's what my
really weird, but boy, I love it.
Here's what my Neva artificial intelligence says. Taking cold showers can have a number of health benefits, including stimulating the immune system, that's that lymph thing, increasing resistance to illness, improving circulation, deepening sleep, spiking energy levels, that I believe, reducing inflammation. And
get me out of here fast.
Yeah, potentially relieving depressive syndromes. Cleveland Clinic's a good source. Let's read what the Cleveland Clinic says. Are cold showers good for you? Now, this is a cold shower. I'm not taking a cold shower.
No, you don't take it. That's the whole point. You don't get in there and get comfortable. It has to be a shock. for it to work.
All right, I will try it tomorrow. I'll absolutely try it tomorrow. It stimulates blood flow. It's good for your overall health. Your skin gets clearer and healthier with increased circulation because the blood jumps in.
Mm-hmm.
But there are better ways to get your blood pumping that don't involve shivering. Go for it.
Have you guys done?
I agree. If
you're going to do the torture part, do you do the sauna part?
I do. I like saunas
you take
too.
a hot shower and then, but you end in. Also, it's great for your skin and it's great for your hair because it closes off your hair follicles.
Yeah,
so
my skin is still pink and my hair is still white. I'm not going to make
a clinical trial in the Netherlands found that cold showers. Now, these are cold showers, not just brief ones, but cold showers. 29% reduction in people calling off sick from work. Another study connected cold showers to improve cancer survival. On the mental health side, researchers found cold showers may help relieve symptoms of depression.
Yeah, that's why I started doing it, and it does help.
Happy gas.
Happy gas. Okay, I'll try it.
Like.
I'm not. See, now this, by the way.
And you can start with 10 seconds.
This is exactly what we were just talking about.
That's enough pain.
This is exactly what we were just talking about. This was an experiment to see if Tech Dirt was wrong, that in fact you could be influenced by social media.
Well,
and Leo has been.
Yeah, Leo's
good place.
Tomorrow, I'm taking a cold shower.
I'm not taking cold showers. I'm not walking on bridges.
Okay, and Jeff has not. Jeff was not. He is strong-minded.
Yes, stubborn.
Now, let's take a break. Then we come back.
Inger in our IRC does make a good point. It says, ask your doc first. You may cause heart stress. Hence why only 10 seconds or so is totally fine because you'll feel a difference. But it has to be not a gradual turn of the knob to go to cooler temperatures.
If I am not here next week,
full bore,
you will know why. All right, we're going to talk about the Supreme Court and Section 230. They haven't heard arguments yet, have they, on this? They're briefs coming. There's a brief from Google now, but arguments still to come. But they are hearing, and actually, I have, you know what? This particular case is somewhat persuasive to me, and I'll tell you what the debate is over when we continue in just a bit. But
read the Google brief, and you'll be persuaded the other way.
No,
and you're obviously easily persuaded because you're going to go take a shower tomorrow.
The Google brief, I will tell you, the Google brief persuaded me otherwise, and I think it'll do the same with the justices. But I'll tell you why in a second. I do want to talk about. You've probably seen this, and you're going to see signage and so forth. And during the shows, a little lower third pops up that says that the studios are brought to you by the great folks at ACI Learning. We've for years, in fact, since they were founded, talked about IT Pro, right? IT Pro is now part of ACI Learning. Together, IT Pro and ACI Learning are expanding their production capabilities. It's a match made in heaven. So now you get the content and the style of learning you need at any stage in your development. If you want to get ahead in IT, there is no better way to do it. Whether you want individual training for yourself or you want to train your whole team, ACI Learning at IT Pro have you covered. 227,000 members of the IT Pro learning community. I suspect many of them are listeners here. We know there's a great overlap. 6,800 hours of content. And now, thanks to ACI Learning, there's new content in a lot of areas being added. It's pretty exciting. It's, of course, team training is available for CompTIA and Microsoft IT and Cisco and Linux and Apple and security and cloud and more. One of the most widely recognized certifications that most people start their career with is the CompTIA A+. That's the desktop support cert. And the best way to get that cert, CompTIA courses from IT Pro and ACI Learning. It makes it easy for you to level up or your employees to level up, especially if they have, and you should have, a vested interest in cybersecurity. The most popular certs offered by ACI Learning include CISSP, AWS, ISACA, ISACA, and CCNA. Other in-demand tech skills and certification courses offered are Technical Support Specialist, computer user support specialist, information security analyst, and much more. I think as an individual, if you're listening, you're thinking those would be such great skills to bring to the job. And if you're a company with a security team or an IT team, you've got to be thinking, I need my team to have those skills. Certs are more than just, proving a skill set. They let customers, they let clients, they let employers see that you're committed to keeping your knowledge up to date. And if you've got an organization, it's a great way of showing your customers, we pay attention to this. ACI Learning and IT Pro are with you every step of the way with an IT Pro business plan. ACI Learning offers fully customizable training. The dashboard is fantastic. You can track your team's results, manage your seats, assign and unassign individual team members or group team members. You can access monthly usage reports. You'll see metrics like logins, viewing time, tracks completed, and more. It's very easy to manage your teams, too. You could say, you need to study this. You guys, you need to study this. You can customize the assignments fully. Keep an eye on progress, report on usage, which is helpful. If you're showing the boss, this is, we're doing it, we're learning it. And your team will love it because it's such good quality content. Fun, engaging, informative. They appreciate it. The assignments can be full courses, but they also can be individual episodes within courses. And because there's transcripts for every course, you could find exactly that thing you're trying to learn or try to get your staff to learn. And you get the best advanced reporting, immediate insight into your team's viewing patterns and progress. You can do it over any period of time. The reports can be very visual. Again, the boss likes pictures. Respected companies and government agencies around the globe use IT Pro and ACI Learning year after year to help them maintain their competitive edge. It's really the best name in training. Supporting organizations across more than just IT now. It's audit, IT, cybersecurity. ACI Learning keeps you and your team at the top of your game. From entry-level training to putting people on the moon, ACI Learning has you covered. Maintain your company's competitive edge with ACI Learning. Visit ACIlearning.com. It's a great partnership, producing fantastic content that'll help you get ahead in the business and help your team learn the things it needs to know to keep your company safe. ACIlearning.com. We thank ACI Learning so much for supporting not only Twig, but supporting the entire operation here with their studio sponsorship. We are coming to you from the Twit studios by ACI Learning. Thank you, ACI Learning. All right. So let's first of all talk about this Supreme Court case because it's an interesting case. It is actually about radicalization. Specifically, it is a suit against YouTube. Am I right? Which is why Google's brief is, important. The issue is Gonzalez versus Google LLC, brought by the Gonzalez family, who let me see if I can find the facts of the case so I can. She was.
It's in the brief.
Is it in the brief? Okay, good. I'll go to the brief. She was one of the victims of that horrific Paris shooting, right? Let me open this brief up here so we can talk about it. Oh, it's many pages. Many pages.
It's only 68, but there's got a handy table of contents.
Her family is suing.
No, actually, it's not. It's not in there.
Yeah. Petitioners contend that YouTube violated the Anti-Terrorism Act by displaying ISIS videos to users watching similar videos. In other words, recommending those videos to those users and thereby radicalizing them, causing them to become terrorists, causing this mass killing.
Before that, they were perfectly normal, but go ahead.
Well, it was in Paris. So here's the issue. Here's what I would propose. I don't think Section 230 should, in fact, protect algorithmic recommendations. I want you to make the case for that, Jeff. I think Section 230 should protect me and Google against those videos on Google. But if Google says, or Twitter or Facebook or even Twit, if we start recommending radicalizing content, that is not, I don't believe that should be protected.
But where does the algorithm come from? They don't just appear on their own, right? Who's responsible for the algorithm?
Google.
Well, let me try to answer your question. I'm going to start not with 230, but with the First Amendment. And this is a piece that I wrote in a British publication a week ago, that choice is speech. You choose who to have on this show. An editor decides. Stacey's leaving. She's in for a waffle time. It's the great thing about the Zoom thing. We can now see this. So I'll spend a minute.
We have a gentleman's rule not to mention.
I know we don't, but I think it's fun.
Okay.
Because she knows when Jeff gets going, I got 4 minutes. I can do it. So choice is itself speech, right? An editor, a publisher, a platform. You'll leave me.
Jeff, I can hear you when I leave.
I know.
I want you to know that.
I know that. I thought it was funny.
I forgot to get my water.
Oh, water, huh?
And and if you were going to explain how the First Amendment relates to Section 230, I knew I had plenty of time.
You're out of here. Yeah. The point is, speech includes choice, and the choice of what you choose to carry is protected by the First Amendment in this country, and should be protected by the Supreme Court. Forget 230. When you get to 230 and say, well, they shouldn't be protected from this, well, against what? To be sued for carrying it? Okay, but it's not is it illegal speech? Then are they prosecuted? What do we say about that? But 230 protects them from the liability of others' actions. And I think it's absolutely vital, because the point is, at scale, algorithms are going to be necessary to give us what we want in recommending content.
Okay,
and not just
that's
the bad,
what you're saying is because we're just trying, people are trying to give their customers what they want, be it Twitter, Google, or what have you, and they're going about it from a level of code. The code should be protected, and the people writing that code should be protected. The algorithm should be protected.
I think so, yes.
I think you're wrong there. I think your argument is basically like we have to trust this because it's the only way we can get content out to people at scale. So I don't think, but
the New York Times now uses an algorithm to recommend content.
Here's the reason I don't. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and you're right. Choice is a First Amendment right, but I don't want to lose 230 protection because we went to the wall to protect the algorithm.
Well, that's a political question. Well, that's not a principled question.
Okay, but ultimately,
you're negotiating already.
Well, we need to negotiate because we're going to lose it. There's a strong risk of losing it, and I'll tell you what. So I'm not protecting somebody's algorithm if that means I can't have a chat room, I can't have comments, I can't have a forum, I can't have a Mastodon, because none of that is any longer protected by 230.
But it's not just the algorithm, right? I finally figured out a way to put this recently, is you have the left, is when you have Wyden and 230 said, we're going to create a sword and a shield. A shield so that you're not liable for others' actions, a sword so that you are free to moderate and have a better discussion to get rid of junk. And we're going to give you both. Well, the left is going after the shield because they say, well, you shouldn't be protected. You should be going after this bad stuff. You should get rid of bad stuff. The right is going after the sword, saying, how dare you take down our bad stuff? That's our stuff. And we're going to require you in Texas and Florida to keep it up. And so it's part of that larger discussion. So I see what you're saying, Leo. Okay, let's negotiate this. But there's no negotiation with where this discussion is headed. That's the problem.
But I've always said these algorithms are a bad idea.
No, I disagree.
I think they're a bad idea. I think there's a difference in editorial judgment, as in the New York Times picking what's on its front page. There's a very different thing from that, and something like what Meta, Facebook, Google, World of Warcraft do to generate more revenue by promoting extremist content.
You know what? I miss an algorithm.
You know what, Jeff? You talked about the New York Times algorithm being like recommending stories to you. Mm-hmm. That's less offensive because the New York Times has an editor that puts up all of their stories. So if I'm saying from this existing curated list I'm recommending from
So
an approved
only
list
New
of
York
content.
Times writers get protected, but we schmucks out here in social media and blogging don't?
That's
Well,
why
wait
I'm
a minute.
saying with
You're
the
not
algorithm.
the ISIS videos are not protected. First of all,
Yeah.
In fact, one of Google's points is, we took care of that a long time ago. The ISIS
And by the
videos
way,
are not
there's
protected.
no proof that the people involved saw those videos.
Yeah.
None.
So maybe on the actual facts of this case, there isn't a case, but I don't
What would
want to
matter
go
to
to
the
the wall
Supreme
defending the right of these massive tech companies to use algorithms to encourage revenue growth through engagement.
So let me try it a
when the
different way. Let me try it
algorithms
differently.
tend to point you in directions. And Twitter does this too, where you're more outraged. You complained about what you're seeing.
Okay,
You're seeing
okay.
Lauren
So let
Boebert.
me.
The reason
okay,
you're seeing
let me
Lauren
answer you.
Wait a minute, let me finish. The reason you're seeing Lauren Boebert on Twitter is because Twitter has
Because
decided.
Elon Musk said so.
Well, no, because I believe
Yeah.
the algorithm says, look,
no,
you know
oh,
what?
no, oh,
See
no.
how excited and upset this gets Jeff? See how much more he tweets? See how many more hours he spends on Twitter?
That's purely
we need
political.
to do this.
Purely political. I'm not seeing Bernie Sanders.
Well,
I'm only
I would
seeing Lauren
submit
Boebert.
that Elon's right to promote Lauren Boebert to you is protected speech. The algorithm's right to promote Lauren Boebert to you to,
Let me give you
to
a different
make more
scenario.
money is not protected speech.
Okay, let's take economics out of this for a moment, if we may.
We can't
And
because that's why they
let's
do it.
wait. Let's go to Mastodon. Now, on Mastodon, I miss an algorithm because there's stuff overnight that I miss that I wish I could see. I want an algorithm that says, hey, Jeff, here's the good stuff you missed. And I'm seeing some examples of this people are working on out there. The algorithm, an algorithm for algorithm's sake, is not evil. An algorithm can be done badly in the case of the Lauren Boebert, and I guarantee you that's purely political, not economic. But whatever. But an algorithm, if we demonize algorithms, if we demonize math, if we demonize knowledge, that's going to be a bigger problem here. And I can see in an activity pub world where there may be 5 or 6 algorithms that I will choose to have because they find stuff that I care about and they're not economically motivated. And I can choose them and they're optional and they're transparent and I know what I'm getting. My point is algorithms aren't evil.
Well, I
So
think
maybe what
the
you're
fact-
saying is advertising is evil. Well, that's a different
I think
problem.
the fact that Jeff Jarvis is too lazy to scroll back through his feed is a lousy reason for us to defend algorithms on any platform.
Oh, no.
Algorithms
I have no
are
problem with the algorithms. My problem is the algorithms are being forced. I should be able to just go through chronological.
I'll submit to you the real problem with algorithms and is what they're optimizing for. So if an algorithm is merely optimizing to surface the stuff that you would have been interested in overnight, that's benign. But if the algorithm, and I submit this is what it's being optimized for, is to generate more engagement and
But
hence
you've just
more
demonized
revenue.
algorithms as a whole.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that's a business
I'm not
decision.
demonizing algorithms as a whole. The problem is we can't impute what the intent is of an algorithm, but I can guarantee you that that's what happens. They don't algorithmize your tweets that you see overnight because, I think Jeff would be interested in this. There's nobody doing that. They're saying
Free Musk. I like the algorithm. I chose the
but
algorithm over the con.
Understand
It was good.
how it works from a computer programmer's point of view. It's far too hard to write that algorithm. But here's an easy algorithm to write. How much time did Jeff spend on the platform yesterday? All right, let's tweak it. Did he spend more time? Yeah, let's tweak it. Did he spend more time? And that's how it does. Because no programmer is going to write in, this person's interested in A, B, and C, so we should give him more dog pictures. He likes those.
So let me tell you,
that's not how it works. It's much
Leo?
easier, and this is how every single algo works on every single social platform, including TikTok, including World of Warcraft, including Google, Facebook. Trust me, I understand how it's coded. It's directly tied to engagement.
I'm going to give you a
tied to
good
revenue.
algorithm right now. If you go to @Colarusso_algo @law.builders on Mastodon, this is an algorithm that goes through this guy's feed.
Yeah, but no
and
business
finds
is
stuff.
implementing that because that's not what a business
And so
is in
it's nothing
business
wrong
for.
with an
It's
algorithm.
all about profit.
Well, profits. The New York Times makes a profit too. Profit's not evil, you communists.
No, it's not evil.
I
I'm
absolutely
with
am
profit.
not going to the wall to defend Google or Facebook or Twitter's right to keep us engaged by keeping us outraged. in order to protect Section
That's the problem
230.
I have.
That is not going to happen. And
Well,
if
I think you've thrown the baby out with the Constitution. You've just gone over the line, Mike.
Mr. Jarvis, it would be fine if the algorithm wasn't just spitting out. Again, I started the show saying I'm not really on Twitter or any social media much nowadays unless I'm just broadcasting, because what's being presented to me is a bunch of depressing and angry stuff. I don't
know how you get that, because it's not happening with me, my friend.
And
so I'm not sure what's happening.
I hate that. Normally I pop it open and I just see my community of people. But now what I'm seeing is my community of people are angry because they've been fed something, and it's just a vicious cycle of so many depressing stories or so many upset stories.
You also don't like the news, right? You said the same thing about news.
Yeah, I'd say, right.
Yeah.
And I could say the exact same thing about local news, because if I turn on local news, it's pretty much the same way.
Yeah, and just because the algorithm may be working for you, Jeff, doesn't mean it works for everybody.
I'm not saying it does, but it also means it doesn't not work for everybody. And so if you want to eliminate the algorithm for me too, you've taken away a tool that I find useful.
Yeah, they've taken away. That's like arguing, like, don't take away something that benefits me, even if it harms others. That's silly.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, give me a choice. Platforms.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Give me the choice. Let me just do the chronological old school way of going back and seeing what people posted that I actually give a care about, versus just suggesting things to me because everybody else is talking about it. Give me a choice.
Jonathan Zittrain at Harvard argued, I was in the room when he argued it to Facebook at, Davos, when I used to get invited, where he said, you know what you should do? You should give everybody a dial. And if they want to choose the Disney algo that's all cleaned up, or they want to choose the Alex Jones algo, make that the responsibility of the user. And then you're going to get in less trouble, by the way, because the users, they chose it. It wasn't forced on them.
Well, but users are choosing it on an engagement. I mean, that's kind of what Leo's dial is, or Leo's.
Well, and that's their right. They want to watch Alex Jones. Let them watch Alex Jones. I think he's awful.
It's a choice, yeah.
But
no one's saying they can't watch Alex Jones or even ISIS videos. But what I'm saying is it shouldn't be promoting those completely. It doesn't. By the way, you need to understand how computers and algorithms work, Jeff, before you start defending algorithms. The algorithms.
You also need to read some research on this that says that this is not what's happening at YouTube.
Well, I'm just saying it's a lot harder to write an algorithm, and almost a failing. Look at the recommendation engines, by the way, how poorly they do. Those do not work. What works really well is a feedback loop between your time spent, the amount of engagement, the amount of tweeting, the amount of tweets you read, and the content. And it doesn't care about what the content is. It just says, well, when we serve him this, he spends more time here, so we should give him more of that. That's an easy algo to write. That's how TikTok works. That's how every algorithm I've ever seen on social works.
I like my TikTok feed,
The problem
too.
is, if you look at the Netflix recommendations, they suck. You know why? They don't have that feedback loop. They're trying to recommend something based on, your interests. That doesn't work.
Well,
that's why
a lot of
none of that stuff
Netflix
works.
Programming, but that's another story.
Well,
it's all depressing.
I can tell you exactly how all the algorithms on social networks work. It has nothing to do with goodness or light.
But I'm saying you're setting a
precedent
precedent here. In wanting the Supreme Court to say algo evil, you're setting a precedent that affects so much more. No. And so I'm not willing to die on that hill. You are, I'm not.
I don't.
You're going to take a cold shower? I'm not going to.
I don't want to say algo evil. I do want to say, allow me to step away from it if I want.
And I agree with that. Absolutely.
And the recommendation stuff,
totally smart.
That is a whole different ball of wax, like you said, Mr. Laporte. I think that takes more effort on the consumer side of things because, YouTube used to be pretty bad for me. Netflix was pretty bad, but the effort that I did with hitting those stupid thumbs up, thumbs down, and all of that on the things that I watch, it did tend to make a difference after a while. So now the stuff that I get, it's useful. But everybody's not going to do that because most people have a life. I don't.
You're gaming the algorithm, and you can game the algorithm, but you can only game it temporarily. They know perfectly well eventually you're going to give up and just watch what we tell you to watch.
Yeah. They'll throw that number one. What is it? This says number
just
one
because
in the
big
US
tech doesn't
does it. I don't want to watch it.
Just because big tech does it or doesn't do it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I think that is a mistake. I'm not going to buy into that. But they don't have an interest in promoting the social wheel. They have an interest in making money. And that is the capitalist way. And I don't think that that has anything to do with free speech or protected speech or Section 230.
But, well, what about every book publisher? What about your company right here? What about every newspaper? What about every magazine? What about every TV network? They all make money.
Do you think they should have no liability for the social consequences of their algorithmic choices?
I think
because that's what Section 230 does. It takes away all liability.
Is wise. It doesn't take away all liability. If you have libel,
well, it takes away liability for those choices,
or those things that are done by others outside on the platform. And without that, as there's a great quote in the Google brief, which I have up on the rundown, we would end up with nothing but billboards. We'll end up with nothing but absolute pap and crap. If this goes away, because no one's going to take the liability of making choices. All they're going to do.
I completely agree with you. That's why we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Screw Google, screw Twitter, screw TikTok and their creepy algorithms. Let's protect my chat room, my Mastodon, where it's not algorithmic, but I need to be protected so that I am not liable for things people post there. That is absolutely necessity. I agree with you. It would be the end of the internet if Section 230 went away. Your attempt to defend an indefensible algorithm is the problem, not what.
Again, I'm going to go back to the research. And this is what Google says in the brief, is that there's a lot of accusations being presumed here and made that aren't backed up by the facts. And so on the basis of, get ready, Ant, I'm telling you, get ready. On the basis of such moral panic, we can lose rights at a greater level. See, I think Ant didn't have a cold shower this morning. He was a little slow on the uptake.
That wasn't me. That's this daggum computer that
you're blaming
at some point.
The Tesla too, huh?
Blaming the Tesla.
I'm sorry.
Blaming the
Stacey,
Tesla.
you I'm sorry, that's wrong. You confessed an embarrassing moment in life, and I shouldn't.
And you just kicked me while I was down.
I did.
Totally,
I'm sorry.
totally. I expected no less.
Or no more. All right, Leo, I think we've set our boundaries here.
What else is going on?
We have not really. I mean, that was a Google story. I feel like we haven't talked
got
much
other Google
about
stories.
About which?
Yeah.
About heck?
Tech. Remember that?
Do we want to talk about all the AI? You've got a bunch of ChatGPT and Stable Diffusion stories.
I did think
Nick
Cage's takedown of ChatGPT is hysterical.
Explain to the folks.
So some people have, I guess it's become a thing to post, for some reason, lyrics written in the style of Nick Cave written by ChatGPT. So somebody asked Nick Cave, hey, look at this. In the depths of the night, I hear a call, a voice that echoes through the hall. It's a siren song that pulls me in, takes me to a place where I can't begin. I am the sinner. I am the saint. I am the darkness. I don't know. Anyway, for whatever. Nick Cave responded on his personal blog. What ChatGPT is in this instance is replication as travesty. ChatGPT may be able to write a speech or an essay or a sermon or an obituary, but it cannot create a genuine song. It could perhaps in time create a song that is on the surface indistinguishable from original, but it would always be a replication, a kind of burlesque. Now, this is the important part. But, by the way, this is completely obvious to everybody who has anything to do with this stuff. But Nick Cave, you deserve the right to say this. Songs arise out of suffering, by which I mean they're predicated upon the complex internal human struggle of creation. And well, as far as I know, algorithms don't feel. Data doesn't suffer. ChatGPT has no inner being. Well, to which I respond, well, duh.
Yeah.
It has been nowhere. But people, this is, so the reason people have embraced this and it's gotten a lot of abstraction is. It's like an anthem for humanity in this world of machines.
John Henry.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
sing
John
a song
Henry.
and beat you.
Yeah. It has endured nothing. It has not had the audacity to reach beyond its limitations like we do. And hence it doesn't have the capacity for a shared, transcendent experience. We should get John Perry Barlow's Ghost to read this. As it has no limitations from which to transcend. ChatGPT's melancholy role is it is destined to imitate and can never have authentic human experience, no matter how devalued and inconsequential the human experience may in time become. Again,
wow,
you're fighting a fight. Nobody's trying to fight. Nobody's.
This is why they chose you to make fun of through this mechanism, because you take yourself too seriously.
That's pretty funny.
Stacey was heading us toward, I think the suits really do raise a lot of fascinating issues here. Because you've got Getty suing Stable Diffusion.
Yeah, because Stable Diffusion has many, many Getty images in its database. And Getty knows this because the watermark is, it's Greeked, but it's there. So it's obvious. But of course, what's also obvious is all of those images were posted publicly on the internet.
Well, and what if Getty? What if I bought a license to Getty and used it to train?
Oh, that's interesting.
An AI, because right now
license.
our IP laws don't have anything saying you could do that. I mean, we had an IP change. We rewrote contracts for the internet, and maybe we need to rewrite our contracts for creating content for a ChatGPT era or Stable Diffusion era.
Good point.
So the line, what is it here? The one where I say it's a point-by-point rebuttal.
Thank you, Ant.
82. Yes, good point. Goes down to exactly what Stacey's saying, is that it raises issues. And the problem is this: the suit says that ChatGPT is a collage. And what this refutation, and it's anonymous, I don't know who did it, says is no, the ChatGPT stores no photos. It looks at this huge scrape of the web and looks at stuff and abstracts from it, and then uses that abstraction to make stuff. And so copyright just isn't built for this, to Stacey's point. What
derivatives?
Yeah, is it? Can you say that? No, you're not allowed to be inspired by that. No. I have the right to tell you, I'm Nick Cave, and you cannot be inspired by my song. You cannot do that. I don't know. We lost.
No, I mean,
it's
just like obvious.
Blah, blah.
I guess if you post it publicly and you get scraped, I mean, I feel for the artists. On my Google Home device, I have the arts and the Google Arts paintings and stuff on there. And there are a lot of classic old paintings rotating through. And all of them look like Stable Diffusion now to me. Because
or Midjourney. They all have their own aesthetic now.
Because and it isn't their own aesthetic. That's the artist's point. It's our aesthetic.
Yeah. Right.
All of this is the problem with all AI. It's trained on data that it gets from somewhere, whether it's face recognition that doesn't have enough people of color in it, or it's using artists' images that it's scraping from the internet. It needs data to do what it does. I don't know if it's. I mean, the courts. Who knows what the courts are going to do? It's going to depend.
They're going to
get
so confused by this.
It's going to depend very much on the points of view of the judges and juries that get to rule on this. Because
so where's these two?
Just advisors.
Yeah.
So I would say, and China's trying to regulate AI deepfakes. This is absolutely going to be for the next decade a big arena of discussion because, we thought it's funny because we really thought it was going to be biotech. That by now we would be roiled in court cases over genes, patenting genes, modifying genes. Should people be allowed to choose what sex their baby's going to be, let alone how smart they're going to be and what color their eyes are? And it didn't happen. It will, I guess, at some point. But this is what happens with new technologies. We have to, as a society, figure out, what
surprises you?
How do we? It surprises you, and now we have to figure out, well, what do we do about it?
So let me ask you, tech
I just want to say, I want to see more bare breasts on Facebook.
Oh, see, you got away from it, Leo. You got away from it, and then you couldn't help getting the pedals confused, and you went through another fence. You didn't learn the first time you went through the fence.
It's Tesla's fault.
Let me ask you a
conservatives think ChatGPT has gone woke.
Well, I'm sure they can train it to be anti-Semitic soon enough.
Oh, no problem. We can do that. I mean, there is a lot. Of course, I'm not dismissing the issue. There's a larger issue. I mean, this whole issue of,
stochastic parents. We talked about.
I mean,
what are you building it on?
Gubru brought this up. It was more than a year ago now.
Yeah. Well, if you want to make it better, one argument. I did this just to be provocative on Mastodon. Then you could say that every single book should be in the learning set because books are better than the web. Of course, then Glick went after me on Mastodon as a result.
I'm kind of a fan of the idea of letting this, this is my personal opinion. It's going to be a judge's opinion that's going to decide it, or a jury's. But my personal opinion is this is so new. This is kind of what you say about the internet. Yeah, there are hazards, but let's at least let this go and see what happens.
Let's play it out a little bit.
What
do you think about Copilot? What do you think about code and Copilot? Is that different from being inspired by
No, it's exactly the same. Copilot is more obvious because it's lifting, but again, it's the same issue, which is it's code that is put on GitHub publicly. So it's available to anybody who wants to look at it, and that's all it's doing is scraping that. And yeah, I mean, when you ask Copilot to write some code, it's somebody else's code that it's pasting in there, or something very similar to it.
That's how code works.
They're smart they've done something interesting with ChatGPT. It's more synthetic. I don't think it's quite as clearly lifted from somebody else.
Yes.
Now, right. Alex Kantrowitz, and we were trying to get him on Twit. Unfortunately, he's traveling right now. We'll get him on, and we have him scheduled in a couple of months. But he's the guy who does the Big Technology blog, and he had a very interesting story about getting plagiarized by what turns out to be a Substack written by an AI. And he has the quotes to prove it.
How close is it?
It's 100%. So let me see if I can. This is the big.
Was it ChatGPT or was it?
Well, we don't know because
a lesser brand.
And by the way, I will also add, I got sucked in by it. I actually bookmarked the. It's a new Substack called The Rationalist, and you might have seen this too. It published a post, which with a very, I thought, a very provocative title, which caught my eye: "The Creator Economy, the Top 1% and Everyone Else. The Creator Economy's Middle-Class Myth, Why Only the Top Echelon of Online Creators Are Able to Make a Living." I bookmarked this. I bookmarked passages from it. I was going to talk about it on this show until...
We could get into an argument about that.
Until I saw Alex's post in which he said, over the weekend, a new Substack called The Rationalist lifted analysis and writing directly from big technology. It plagiarized a post on the creator economy, which we'd covered days prior. But here's why I saw the fake post. It went viral. It hit the front page of Hacker News, sparked a conversation.
We know it was made by AI or just a bad plagiarist?
Well, I think Alex... So what made the case of this is from Alex's blog post, the Substack post. What made the case of The Rationalist particularly striking, though, was its author, an avatar by the name of Petra, admitted they'd used AI tools to produce the story, including those from OpenAI, Jasper, and Hugging Face. It said, or the human behind it said, well, English is not my native language. So I asked these tools to help me translate what I was saying. But if you so here's the quote, for instance, from Big Technology, from Alex's story. With the days of zero interest rate froth ending, the investments are becoming more difficult to justify. 2 days later, The Rationalist wrote, with the end of zero interest rate froth, those investments are becoming more difficult to justify. I think that's 100% plagiarized. It's slightly paraphrased.
In fact, it's almost so bad it looks human.
Aha. Online content creation, writes Alex, is still mostly viable for the very top echelon of online creators. The Rationalist said only the top echelon of creators are able to make a viable income. That's a little bit better paraphrase. Honestly, the AI did a better job of link baiting me. I didn't see. I subscribed to Alex's newsletter, but I didn't.
I would have done the same thing.
These damn algorithms.
I totally clicked on that article and read it.
It's a great headline. Yeah. Anyway, Alex was pissed, but as usual with Alex, he's not taking it personally. He's really writing about, well, this is an issue. Given the rationalist's success, he writes, more advanced efforts to copy and remix others' work with AI will likely take place. It should be easy to improve. The rationalist was sloppy, lifting clauses word for word, but as publications with similar intent refine their systems, and I think we're getting close to that already, they'll be able to remove all traces of the original writing, for which you could substitute painting, and just pass along the ideas, and it shouldn't be hard to automate either.
I'm betting this was more human than machine, but the point stands that the machine will do a better job of it.
Yeah. Imagine AI remixing, he says, the Financial Times 10 most read stories of the day or the Information's VC coverage and making the reporting available without a paywall. He also reminds us that we talked about this last week, and actually I had the editor-in-chief of CNET on Sunday and asked her about it. AI is already writing stories, fresh stories, for CNET, 75 stories for their personal finance section. Connie Guglielmo was on the show, and I asked her about it, and she said, well, she wrote a blog post about it. She said, there are a lot of stories real reporters don't want to write because they're so boring and dull and mundane.
True.
So what we did is we had an AI write them, then had a human review it for factual content and to rewrite it so it's better written.
Well, this is the fascinating thing around education now, where NYC public schools we talked about last week outlawed it, others are trying to outlaw it, but the smart educators are saying turn out the AI stuff and then have the students judge it and grade it, and that's smarter.
Jessica Lesson, CEO of The Information, told Alex, by the way, note that I am quoting Alex's stuff verbatim, but I am giving him credit. That's what.
Yes.
But this is how we make a living. Is I don't do any enterprise reporting. We take other people's reporting and we comment. Thank you, Stacy. You do. I don't. Jessica says, our competitors rip us off all the time, essentially remixing stuff and sharing. The Information subscribers are smart to get it from the source, but I'm watching all this with fascination, of course. I am sure Alex and Jessica, both of whom have been on Twit, know what we do and understand, and I always attempt.
Oh, you're promoting them. It's like the Google and Facebook. You're promoting them.
And I hope I subscribe to both, and I hope that others do and read the original, but we are commenting on it. We're kind of we're glossing what they wrote.
That's like TV news. As a written site, like there is a vast difference between like GigaOM, for example. I would usually do a link to somebody's reporting in a quick insight, and then I'd go off and do if you're writing 3 to 5 stories a day, you can't do original reporting on all 5. It's not possible. But I still think you should still do some of your own original reporting.
I'm not a reporter. I'm not that's not what I do.
Well, no, but you do have people. I mean, so your value that you do is you test things out. So you play with devices and you figure out when it may not be on this show, for example, but you have shows where you've done what I think of as reporting.
Yeah, but mostly what I bring to the table is years of experience doing that.
Experience and perspective. Yeah.
Attaching that on top of other people's work. Should I stop doing what I'm doing? You think it's immoral?
No.
I don't think it's immoral. No. You're quoting other people.
I got a book coming out. I need the show to be around till it comes out.
You see, he's the algorithm.
Your audience.
I'm a capitalist.
You know those ads where the guy plays mayhem? And
yes,
and
love those commercials.
I love those. They're on football. That's why you guys don't see him probably. And he's like a mouse running around the house, causing you to jump and scream and knock over the Christmas tree and cause a fire. Or
that guy, the insurance. Yeah.
Is it Progressive? I don't even know.
Progressive.
I don't even know what the insurance company is because the ads are too good. I don't pay any attention. But I think somebody should do algorithm and go around and cause havoc and mayhem. Maybe we can get that guy to do it. He's very good as Mayhem.
Maybe we can. He was Tina Fey's boyfriend on 30 Rock.
Oh, I didn't know.
really?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was Dennis. Was his name Dennis?
Dennis, I think so, yeah. Well, so Leo, are you scared of what Reid Hoffman demonstrated this week?
I think it's wrong what Reid Hoffman did, but all right, well, let's talk about that.
I was going to suggest we try to do it on this show.
No.
Maybe just do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, others have done this too. In fact,
It's a gimmick.
We played, I think, on this show a podcast featuring Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs that was generated by AI.
Well, that was trying to fake you out that they were them, whereas Reid is talking to ChatGPT as a guest.
Well, it wasn't though. I mean, that the people who do that podcast, the whole podcast is generated, and they say it's generated, and these are generated voices. See, this is where it's really going to get weird when you get good enough to create the content artificially and make it sound real, or even in time look real, so that you could be watching a show like this and not know if it's a human doing it.
Right. But what Reid was doing was trying to interview the technology.
Yeah,
He was being open
Reid
about it.
Hoffman is the founder of Netflix, who's now an investor.
No, not Netflix. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, sorry. I confused him with Reed Hastings, who was the founder of Netflix. Yeah, he's LinkedIn founder, who is now a VC at Greylock. And the Greylock Grey Matter podcast is an interview with ChatGPT. It's a gimmick. I mean,
It's a gimmick.
Yeah.
He asked the question. It came back. He used artificial voice to come back and turn it into what sounded like a podcast.
Yeah. Let's start with talking about the Turing test, says Reid. Perhaps you can kick us off with a description and then the
Well, you want to listen to it?
Should I play a little bit of
Hear
it?
With the voices?
Think
Just a bit. Just hear what the voices
think Reid will take us down? I don't know. Let me skip
data
it.
sets and identify patterns and correlations that may not be immediately apparent to humans, which can help to drive new insights and discoveries.
Is that Uncanny Valley?
AI can also be used to develop and test hypotheses and models and to optimize and improve existing
That's not
processes.
bad.
And
I'm going to guess that Greylock has an investment in the technology used to create that voice.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
That's why I don't listen to podcasts from venture capital companies. They often have a hidden agenda. Yeah, I mean, it's a gimmicky kind of thing. I wouldn't do it, but
No.
we spend a lot of time reading poems written by ChatGPT and stuff. It's very interesting.
It was fun for a while.
I actually asked this on Windows Weekly earlier, and I'm wondering what you guys think. We've been talking a lot about, it's going to be, and I've been saying it's a paradigm shift. We're at an inflection point. It's the Cambrian, revolution of AI. Suddenly, you see, art and text being written very credibly by AI. Suddenly we're having this turn, and I've been saying that, but I'm also thinking it could be just another AI winter we're just heading into blithely. This happened before. Remember, we thought cars would be able to drive themselves by now, and they can't, as Stacey has proven. What do you think, Stacey? Is this a turning point in AI, or is this just a gimmick, a magic trick?
I'm having the
Sneeze
biggest
first.
allergy sneeze attack. So
That's why. Yeah.
No, I think this is legit and real, kind of like how we had this burst of innovation after 2012 when we finally managed to create viable image search. I think this sort of thing, it's easier than self-driving for one thing. So I think this is real. I think we're going to see a lot more benefits from it. And I do think it's going to be, I'll call it sudden because I think it's going to be sudden compared to like the launch of the printing press, for example. But like, I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see some real shifts in the type of content and the business models around content creation.
Mm-hmm. Did you say Gutenberg?
I did. I did. Well, I just talked about the printing press, but yes, Gutenberg.
Yes.
Well, please.
I didn't want people to do shots.
Say the printing
I'm rude.
press.
I know.
Take a drink.
I want a drink.
Great.
Yeah, I think Stacey, what the CNET story does, does it commodify? Does it the final commodification of content? Everything's writing and content are special. Reporting special, to your point, but is blathering special?
No. Mandy, the clown in our chat room says, and she's right, radio is a gimmick until it wasn't.
Yeah. True.
Google and everybody kind of going all in. Microsoft rumored to be putting $10 billion into OpenAI. Satya Nadella speaking at, it might have been Davos, somewhere like Davos, admitting, he didn't say the $10 billion number, but he said, we absolutely want to start incorporating artificial intelligence into all of our products.
Oh, they're going to add it into
Azure, and also into Office, Microsoft 365. Here's Google's blog post, why we focus on AI and to what end.
Oh, it's new.
I mean, I would love a ChatGPT auto response that's polite to emails that I could just be like, boom. I mean, I have talked about I wanted a macro for I will honor the embargo, but like, I don't cover this. I don't care. Or, let's go schedule this.
I like this post. This post from James Manica, who's the Senior Vice President for Technology and Society. Is pretty thoughtful. They say, we believe that AI is a foundational and transformational technology that will provide compelling and helpful benefits to people in society through its capacity to assist, complement, empower, and inspire people in almost every field of human endeavor. I would like to point out Google's very good at taking its money-making efforts and making them good for people. It has the potential to contribute to tackling some of society's most pressing challenges and opportunities, from the everyday to the more creative and imaginative. At the same time, we understand that AI, as a still emerging technology, poses various and evolving complexities and risks. This is what a high schooler would write when asked about, did slavery cause the Civil War?
I wrote it.
Yeah. Our development and use of AI must address these risks. That's why we as a company consider it an imperative to pursue AI responsibly. We're committed to leading and setting the standard in developing and shipping useful and beneficial applications, applying ethical principles grounded in human values, and evolving our approaches as we learn from research, experience, users, and the wider community. We believe in getting AI right. This is appropriate that this is what they would say. It's not.
So the White House, remember, a few weeks ago, put out a white paper on principles for AI, ethical AI. 5 simple principles: safe and effective systems, protection from algorithmic discrimination and inequitable systems, protection from abusive data practices and agency about how personal data is used, knowledge of when automated system is used, understanding of its impact.
That's very important.
Ability to opt out of the automated system and for a human alternative.
Could you could you make a law, and should you make a law that says you must disclose when AI is used?
Well, I used it in spell checker. I used it in translate. Where's the line?
That's a good point.
What does use mean?
Good point.
I do think having a human in the mix is key, because as we've seen in all of these things, it doesn't capture everything, and people do get screwed over. And you look at things like loan approvals. You can look at even things like parole. I can't remember what state it was, but the judges didn't have the ability to overturn bail for the AI generated bail. So even if they looked at the situation, we're like, this is not right, or this might be kind of racist. The judges had no options. So I think making sure that you can bring a human in is essential for something like this, especially when it's still so new.
But Stacey, Google search is an AI. Are you going to get on the phone and call somebody and say, no, I didn't like this result. Can you send me
so then,
Joe?
Then
I want to talk to Joe.
No, then we think about the impact. So maybe it is only when it deals with dollar amounts, maybe dollar amounts over a certain amount. Because I think about things like, there's medical care. There's AI that says, oh yeah, you shouldn't be screened for breast cancer when maybe you should, or maybe,
well, that was my thinking.
I think
that's why I thought
that opportunity to argue.
That's why I thought you should have to disclose it, so that you, as a consumer, would be able to say, well, maybe I'll get a second opinion, because.
But it's going to be so much in everything.
That's the problem.
Yeah, no, and I see that problem, but I'm also like, we've got to figure out then the way we need to write a law, and that's doable, to make sure we don't screw people over and not let them have access to a human being in something that's really important.
Hey, everybody, it's Leo Laporte, the founder and host of many of the Twit podcasts. I don't normally talk to you about advertising, but I want to take a moment to do that right now. our mission statement at Twit, we're dedicated to building a highly engaged community of tech enthusiasts. That's our audience. And you, I guess, since you're listening, by offering them the knowledge they need to understand and use technology in today's world. To do that, we also create partnerships with trusted brands and make important introductions between them and our audience. It's how we finance our podcasts, but it's also, and our audience tells us this all the time, a part of the service we offer. It's a valued bit of information for our audience members. They want to know about great brands like yours. So can we help you by introducing you to our highly qualified audience? And boy, you get a lot with advertising on the Twit podcasts. Partnering with Twit means you're going to get, if I may say so humbly, the gold standard in podcast advertising. And we throw in a lot of valuable services. You get a full service continuity team supporting everything from copywriting to graphic design. I don't think anybody else does this or does this as well as we do. You get ads that are embedded in our content that are unique every time. I read them, our hosts read them. We always over-deliver on impressions. And frankly, we're here to talk about your product. So we really give our listeners a great introduction to what you offer. We've got onboarding services, ad tech with pod sites. That's free for direct clients. We give you a lot of reporting so you know who saw your advertisement. You'll even know how many responded by going to your website. We'll also give you courtesy commercials that you can share across social media and landing pages. We think these are really valuable. People like me and our other hosts talking about your product sincerely and informationally. Those are incredibly valuable. You also get other free goodies, mentions in our weekly newsletter that's sent out to thousands of fans. We give bonus ads to people who buy a significant amount of advertising. You'll get social media promotion too. But let me tell you, we are looking for an advertising partner that's going to be with us long term. Visit twit.tv/advertise. Check out our partner testimonials. Tim Broom, founder of IT Pro TV. They started IT Pro TV in 2013, immediately started advertising with us, and grew that company to a really amazing success. Hundreds of thousands of ongoing customers. They've been on our network for more than 10 years. And they say, and I'll quote Tim, "We would not be where we are today without the Twit network." That's just one example. Mark McCrary, who's the CEO of Authentic, he was actually one of the first people to buy ads on our network. He's been with us for 16 years. He said, and I'm quoting, "The feedback from many advertisers over those 16 years across a range of product categories is that if ads and podcasts are going to work for a brand, they're going to work on Twitch shows." I'm proud to say that the ads we do over-deliver. They work really well because they're honest. They have integrity. Our audience trusts us, and we say, this is a great product. They believe it. They listen. Our listeners are highly intelligent. They're heavily engaged. They're tech-savvy. They're dedicated to our network. And that's partly because we only work with high-integrity partners that we have thoroughly and personally vetted. I approve every single advertiser on the network. If you're ready to elevate your brand and you've got a great product, I want you to reach out to us. Advertise at twit.tv. So I want you to break out of the advertising norm, grow your brand with host-read, authentic ads on twit.tv. Visit twit.tv/advertise for more details or email us advertise@twit.tv if you're ready to launch your campaign now. This is what
transparency is critical.
This is what you were talking about. The Nest, the guy who founded Nest with the
yes,
Matt Rogers. There are a lot of these. I would do this. Now they say it's $33 a month. They take your scraps and feed them to chickens after composting them.
Well, you've got to mail the. Well, Stacey should explain it better. She knows more than I do.
Okay, so this is a Wi-Fi connected giant compost bin. It looks like a trash can.
There
size.
are other similar compost bins that deodorize, and then you get a thing that you would then put on your plants or whatever. But it's designed for your kitchen. This one's a little different.
Go ahead, Stacey.
So you pay $33 a month, and you scrap your food in there, and then the bin, whenever you put food in, it will dehydrate it and shrink. Yeah. Chops it up, dehydrates it, shrinks it down into like pellets that
Dessicated
when that gets full, it will generate a box sent to your home. You pack those pellets or powder or whatever it is in the box, and then you ship it out to somebody who feeds it to chickens. You would really talk to me about why you would do this. This is not a product that would be great for me, but I'm curious.
In California, they passed a bill, was signed into law, and it took effect, I think, first of the year, that you have to compost. Everybody has to compost. So we got an extra bin. It's free. It's not. We only pay for trash that goes to the landfill. Recycling we don't pay for. So we have two new bins. We have a green recycling bin for yard waste and stuff. We can throw food waste into that, and then we have another bin we could also throw into for composting. They take it. So we separate our food scraps out. It's a little messy because
a little smelly,
you can't. It's a little smelly, a little messy, but we every day we take the compost out of the house and put it in the bin outside where it is. We put the bin far from the door. It's a little ripe, but then they take it and they use it, and I don't get charged for it, but I presume that it's being used appropriately in giant compost heaps somewhere.
So we get charged. We compost too. We are charged $12 or $10 a month for our compost, and we also have a little bin by our sink, and then when that gets full, we empty it out into the big bin. Because it's cold here, we don't really worry so much about.
Yeah, it's better when it's cold. Yeah.
But this new thing would deal with that, right? It reduces the volume and smell and all that.
And you wouldn't have to put it outside. Now, our compost bin also takes like leaf litter, and it's not just food, and it takes things like paper towels.
Yep.
I don't think this.
We put our paper towels in there in this one too. Yeah.
So I'm having Matt come on the show next week, so he'll be our guest.
You can report to us next week. Yeah.
Because I have a lot of I think it's an interesting idea. I don't think the consumer market, I think there's a small segment of the consumer market that would pay $33 a month for this. I question the environmental benefits because, you've got a truck coming to pick your box of pellets up.
In California, it's against the law to throw food scraps into the garbage. First offense fine is $50 to $100. Third offense and subsequent offense is $500. They're pretty serious about it. I think a lot of people don't do it, and I doubt our police officers are going around looking in our garbage.
No,
but
I don't.
You don't do it? Are you ready for that big fine?
I'm the whole garbage thing and the recycling stuff. I'll just be frank. It seems like a really big racket out here with the recycling. I remember when we first got here and we were told the whole rules of recycling, and apparently I could never get it right. Because they would not empty. They'll
put because they'll look in. They'll put a notice in there. Say, "What you putting lumber in the yard waste for?" Things like that. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, and they hand me a sheet, and I'd read the sheet, and
it's not that hard.
I swear I'm following it word for word.
It doesn't do woke garbage.
You should send him a note saying, "I'm from North Kakalaki. We don't do this."
We burn it in the backyard.
It was like, you can recycle this, but you can't recycle that. And I'm like, well, most people would recycle this as well as recycle
the thing that makes me a little angry.
And then the whole washing this and washing that.
Yeah, you have to wash stuff out.
You're wasting so much water washing this out, even though we're in a drought all the daggum time over here. Yeah, I had issues with all of this trash stuff over here in Sonoma County.
Oh, we do it religiously, Aunt. Lisa is absolutely adamant about that. We separate everything out. We wash it out. We try not to wash it with
California.
A lot of water. Yeah, but we're trying to do our good deed.
I recycle things, but man, you
know what bothers me? And actually, I have a friend who's on the commission for Petaluma garbage. Yeah, and I asked her to look into it because they say we will take plastic bottles. And as far as I know, that's just a lie from the plastic industry. That 90% of plastic is not recyclable.
Well, different municipalities have different vendors that they use, and vendors can change their policies, especially when China stopped accepting everybody's.
Yeah, they claim they recycle it.
Well, Europe has now just passed a law saying you can't have recycling imperialism. You can't export the problem.
No, that's right. Make little Chinese children burn your garbage is not okay.
Right.
Exactly.
I agree.
And I would say, coming from North Carolina, the South is not very progressive in terms of its recycling.
I know that hands down.
California's got. I mean, I think even if we don't like it, we're going to end up doing more of it.
But that's the thing. I do try. I mean, we do make an effort. But when I first got here, it seems like for the longest time I was not doing it.
You have to learn how to do it and get used to
that,
it. It's not easy.
And it's good that they're telling you that they won't accept it, because if you put bad stuff like crappy trash in, it contaminates the whole load. So it's actually probably a good indicator that they're very serious about recycling as much as they can.
We have
the other issue
taped on. Lisa called them and got them to send it. We have taped on our refrigerator all of the exact list of what they take and don't take and what thing to put in.
I had done that too.
Yeah, you have to because it's complicated.
I put it right there on the wall where we have the bin, and I also had it outside on the bin outside.
But they say they take plastic bottles, which, as far as I know, I mean, they put, the plastic industry loves to pretend it's recyclable. They put the little symbol on it and stuff, but nobody, as far as I know, recycles. But apparently,
ones
maybe
and
there
twos
are.
Last
are
I
like
heard,
the
it
only
was
things
hard
that,
plastic that was recyclable.
Yeah, the 1 and 2 plastic are the only ones our place will recycle now.
They make benches out of it and stuff.
Well, that's what they do with the the bags. But the real issue that's raised here by Stacey's upcoming guest is the sin of food waste in this country.
Yeah, and this doesn't make me feel better about that. Well, he claims it does in this article with CNBC. Mill now makes it easy for people to get rid of food waste and reduce their carbon footprint by feeding it to chickens.
And you don't have to worry about me and food waste. Not in this house.
I mean, if I had...
I eat my food waste.
I eat mine, and I tell you one thing. Everybody in this house, they better not have a problem with leftovers. We eat every day.
Yeah, we eat all our leftovers too. Yeah.
We try to, but it's not just leftovers. I mean, it's like, I know, like when I got sick, for example, when we all had the flu, none of us wanted to eat like whatever we had in the fridge.
Yeah, there's stuff wasted. It goes bad. And, yeah.
But
yeah.
Maybe now I know what my thing will be this week. Okay, for all you Californians.
Good. Well, I can't wait to hear your interview with Matt, because I really, I would get this. Indeed. I would even pay $33 a month if I thought it helped the world. Because I care.
And if it reduced the cheesy smell out in your driveway.
It is very
cheesy.
It is a little stinky.
It's not cheesy. It is gross.
Well, like blue cheesy.
Nah, I like blue cheese.
It smells like
something died.
Bad spinach. It's real gross.
It smells like teen spirit.
That's more apt.
All right. I think we're done. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't do the changelog. Play that.
We have a changelog,
yeah,
sir.
we have one. Yeah. Play that whatever thing. Changelog.
There's not much. This will be quick.
Benito's like, we doing a changelog?
The Google changelog. Boom, boom, boom. YouTube is testing a hub of free cable-style channels. It's so funny. We got, we wanted disaggregation, and now we're just aggregating it all right back up again.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. The company is reportedly in talks with media companies to feature their shows and movies. Free V is the hot thing, right? Amazon had Free V. There's Roku TV. Fox has Tubi. Paramount has Pluto TV. And now YouTube wants to have its ad-supported free TV channels. The service is said to have team coordinator Engadget teamed up with the likes of Lionsgate, A&E, and FilmRise. YouTube already offers ad-supported movies. You've probably seen that, but this would give you even more with channels. Like there'll be, Doctor Who, South Park, Frasier. That's fine. Did I say YouTube TV? It's not their YouTube TV service. It's YouTube itself.
It's YouTube.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's the difference. Your Google Stadia controller, we mentioned this last week, but I'll mention it again. As of today, Stadia is no more, but your controller is still usable if you download the tool that turns it into a Bluetooth controller. The last day for Stadia. They also released a snake game called the Worm game that you can play even without Stadia.
Stadia dies, but Snake lives on.
Yeah. Thanks. Most of the games on Stadia apparently have given you a way to migrate your characters and your saves to another platform. You probably should do that. But today's the last day. Stadia is done. Done. The Google Home app's new TV remote adds volume and play controls. Gee, seems like that's something a remote should have. You can. What?
It is new. That's new. It's new. Changelog worthy.
Yeah. It apparently didn't have volume or play controls. I don't know what it was controlling at all. It's just for Google TV. So you have to use those like TVs, I guess, that have Google TV. Well, that's just silly. By now, you've already given up trying to use that remote. I'm almost certain.
Right, because it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything. Google is getting in on the AirTag business. Actually, I don't know how good this is for Apple. Apple sells these AirTags that are trackers. I put one in my luggage. I put one in my keys. Google says that they are going to, well, actually, I shouldn't say Google says it. A Android researcher, Kuba Wojcicki, has spotted code for a Google Bluetooth tracker codenamed Grogu. Grogu. Is this a Mandalorian character? Grogu.
Grogu. It's the name of the child.
Is that the baby weasel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He's a weasel, right? Yoda's a weasel, isn't he? Grogu. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Wojcicki found references that check nearly every major box you would want in a Bluetooth tracker. It has a speaker, UWB compatibility, so you can aim your phone and figure out where stuff is. Supports Bluetooth LE. Being built by the Nest team. They're going to face a lot of the same criticisms Apple got for its AirTag because people were using it to stalk exes and so forth. One of the regulars who's on our All About Android show, Michelle Rahman, also has posted recently about a locator tag option in Google's Fast Pair Developer console. Michelle's very good at finding this stuff.
So there's more Androids out there than iPhones, right? I mean,
exactly. Well, worldwide, it's a vast, market share. So, yeah, this will be interesting. I will be very curious. One of the reasons the Apple AirTag works so well is there are a lot of iPhones in the U.S. anyway. There are a lot of iPhones. So everywhere I go, if an iPhone sees this, it can phone home. It could say, I can go onto my iPhone. I can say, "Where's my AirTag?" And
so is that doing that constantly, Leo?
Yeah.
Is it? So why is there not? So talk to me about the privacy pieces of this, the surveillance.
Well, Apple put a lot of features in to keep. Well, first of all, the government can't see it. Only I can see it. And when another phone sees this, it is not identified as mine. They have a system, I think a very good system, of relaying that information back to me without completely anonymously. I put them in
but couldn't the government subpoena that linkage?
Well, yeah, but my phone also is following me around. I mean, it's not like they don't. And it isn't where I am, by the way. It is wherever I've attached it. So for instance, whenever I travel, I have one in my luggage. And we've seen many stories of people who, there was a guy, Delta Airlines said, we don't know where your bag is. And he says, well, I do. It's actually in London. I can tell. And so there have been a lot of stories like that. I do keep one in my bag. I keep one of my keys more for me because that's the one thing I have to leave the house.
But if you are, we're doing a murder mystery here. You're a murderer. You turned your phone off so you don't get tracked, but you forgot you carry the tag with you.
Your keys are with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
then that can be.
People seem to be much more worried about the fact that I could slip this into somebody's pocket, girlfriend, and follow her home, and that has happened. It ignores the fact that there are already GPS trackers that are actually much better at doing that are not very expensive, in fact, less than an AirTag. Right. But Apple's done a lot of things. For instance, if you're being followed around by an AirTag that's not yours, if you have an iPhone, the iPhone will say, I see a foreign AirTag following us. Is that yours? And this is the problem. If you don't have an iPhone, there is a app you have to install on your Android phone, which works kind of not so great, that'll do the same thing. So you'd have to remember to run that app and all that. Google's going to run into these same problems. It'll be interesting to see how Google handles this. I think Apple's handled it as well as you can handle it.
And it's safe to say Google is just going to try to follow the same suit, right? I mean, they both sort of borrow from each other features and ideas.
From now, it's time for Scooter X's changelog because he's much better at finding stuff than I am.
He's way better.
Google Translate now supports 33 new languages, and it does it offline. Look at these.
Wow, Scooter X has like 40 things here.
I know, he's really good. Basque, Frisian, Hawaiian, Hmong, Igbo, Javanese, Khmer. Wow. I mean, the languages of the world. Zulu, Yoruba, Yiddish, Uyghur.
All of which is
Hosa.
AI you're using.
You didn't hear me, my excellent pronunciation. Hosa. 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 There are only 24 languages in the repertoire that do not yet support offline. But they're working on it. That's impressive. Fitbit step and heart rate data is appearing now in Google Fit. Good news. Remember, Google bought Fitbit, but now they're able to get it into the Google Fit tracker. Digital well-being preps focus mode holidays and removes work on live paper. Don't know what it means, but it's in the changelog. I'm just reading them now. Google Messages end-to-end encryption for group chats is currently limited to 21 people. Our car dealership lost our keys. Oh, no, that's not it. I should just read the chat someday. Just
You're
the whole
way
show.
too fast for us, Scooter X.
Clear
Way
calling
too
on the
fast.
Pixel 7 is like noise cancellation for hard-to-hear phone calls. Chrome OS 109 is rolling out with a tweak to how Android apps launch. Now Scooter X is like challenged. He's going to start cranking them out big time. Google's bringing new features to older versions of Android. Android Auto redesign rolling out draggable seek bar music apps. Google Discover rolls out 3-column UI ahead of Pixel tablet. Android 13 is running on 5.2% of all devices 5 months after launch. And a story that's not Google, Firefox has found a way to keep ad blockers working with Manifest v3. Remember, Google.
So Scooter X, do you have this all ready for the show? Just given this moment,
he's just fast.
every week.
He's good. He's like Mr. Good.
Scooter X is very fast.
Amazing.
Oh, I know that. This is
Google.
The singularity has like already he's already achieved it.
He says I has
Googly
tabs.
moogly.
Scooter X is ChatGPT. Has tabs.
I often wonder. And that's the Google changelog. We're going to wrap this up before we can come up with some more. That was exhausting. Before we get to our picks of the week, I just want to give a little plug for our fabulous folks in the Club Twit. I thank you, Club Twit members. Scooter X is one of them. For supporting everything we do. It is very much appreciated. Stacy had a wonderful book club, I hear.
Yeah, what happened to you, man?
My Tesla drove into a fence and I couldn't. No, no. I got up early because I knew it was a 9 o'clock thing last Thursday.
If you had a cold shower right then,
I should have.
Told you that's
I should have. I should have.
Okay,
because I had a cup of coffee. I got geared up for it, and I thought, well, I'm just going to lie down and close my eyes for a minute.
Oh no!
I woke up at 9:45, and I thought.
Famous last words.
You needed the Leo wake-up call.
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry, sir, but it's time to wake up and smell the roses. I apologize. I'm so sorry. Did it go well? Did you have a good time?
Yeah. We had fun, I think.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love that book. I would have loved to have participated. Have you selected a new book yet for the club?
Not yet.
We have
the
our
vote closes. I think the vote closes next Wednesday. I can't remember.
What are the candidate dates?
Oh,
there. Let me go. I'll go to.
Message.
If I go to book club in our book club poll for our next read, The School for Good Mothers, The Sea of Tranquility, or Tell Me
that's
an
gonna
Ending.
be close. Yeah.
You want to talk
The Sea
about
of Tranquility
those?
is the most literary, and it's really good. It's about time travel and space.
Never read any of these.
School for Good Mothers is AI, and it actually ties into should there be a human in the loop when AI is making decisions about people, in this case, moms.
There you go.
And then the Tell Me an Ending is
Black Mirror meets Severance in this thrilling speculative novel about a tech company that deletes unwanted memories, the consequences for those forced to deal with what they tried to forget, and the doctor who seeks to protect her patients from further harm. Joe Harkin, the author of that. Tell Me an Ending. School for Good Mothers is by Jessamine Chan. And Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel.
She's the one who did, what's it called?
Station 11.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice.
I don't know. Nice. I have no brain.
So if you are in the club and you participate in the book club, you can go to book club in our Twit club and vote, because there's only a few days left. The rerun of the Project Hail Mary Twit book club, Stacy's book club show that I missed, is available in the Twit Plus feed. That's, by the way, this is all benefits to members of the club, and I really encourage you to join. $7 a month, and we really thank you, Aunt and Stacy and everybody who bends over backwards to put some really great stuff together, some really good programming for the club. You get all of the shows ad-free. You get the shows on Twit Plus shows that we don't put out in public, like Hands on Macintosh, Hands on Windows, Untitled Linux Show. You also get these special events. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, Lisa and I will do another Inside Twit. We haven't done one in a year or two, so that'll be fun. Win2 Dow will do one on February 9th.
Only for club members.
Only for club members. And I'm very excited. Daniel Suarez will be joining us, talk about his new book, Critical Mass, which is all... I love his stuff. Yeah, he's going to be great. So the way that's going to work, we're going to do it in the club, but a portion of it will appear on the Ask the Tech Guys show, and then the full interview will be available as a triangulation show. So everybody will get to hear that interview. But if you want to ask Daniel questions, we're going to have a Q&A in the club. Sam Abul Samad is doing a AMA on March 2nd, just added. Thank you, Aunt. Aunt's doing a great job. Yeah, really great. $7 a month gets you all of that. Plus the Discord, and we have great conversations in the Discord. I hang out in the coding section. We have lovely little back and forths in the coding section. We also have a Let's Play section. We have a couple of really interesting Minecraft servers. You have to be a member to join. So, again, I think there's some real benefits for your $7, and it really helps us. You know, someday I would love it if just the club was it, you know, that was the whole kit and caboodle. We're not there yet, but
no ads, no algorithms.
No algorithms, no ads, just content. The algorithm would be whatever the club wants to do, which is not so bad. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit if you're not yet a member and join the fun. It's a great group of wonderful people. Stacy, you said earlier, I have something to talk about. What is your thing this week?
Well, I have two. One's really easy, though. One, since you mentioned composting, and since we've been composting for 4 years since we came here to Washington, where we have to.
Been 4 years now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she hardly has any accent left at all. Huh?
Yeah, just yesterday you were a Texan.
Talking still a Texan, I guess. Anyway, this is the OXO makes a really good compost bin. The reason I like it, and I'll just tell you all about it. It's really smooth on the inside, so it's very easy to wash, which is important in a compost bin. And it's small, so it's big enough for like one meal preps.
I actually have this.
Yeah. The one downside I will say is when you've got something yucky on the bottom and it's stuck and you whack it against your big bin, that lid might fall off. So just be aware of that. But everything else about it is lovely.
Ooh, and into all the goo.
No. It's very small.
That's why
I haven't been able to get anybody to use it.
Oh, I love
and
this
that's
one.
where you
it's
throw your
pretty
food
on your
scraps,
counter.
right?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Where you put the food.
And it
paper
seals
towels.
so you don't smell it, and then you empty it. You have to empty it every day because it's small, but it should be small. You want to empty it every day.
Yeah, you don't want to keep a big compost. I mean, I know it's kind of inconvenient, but you want it small enough, like big enough to hold a full meals prep, but not too big because then it just sits there. Anyway, so that's
Do you
that.
line it, or you just put stuff in there? You don't line it.
No, it's so smooth. It's so easy to clean.
Yeah.
I mean, we wash it out like maybe once a week or so.
Right.
I think I got the bigger. I got this one was 3/4 of a gallon. I think I got the little bit bigger. Yeah, this is the one I got. 1.75 gallons. It's just a little.
Yeah, that was too big for my counter.
Yeah.
And we're a small family. Like if you make a lot, like
we're a small family. We're the same number, 3 people. So we should probably use that if I can get people to use it. Because right now we put it in the regular garbage and it gets soggy, and we line it with the plastic thing, but we can't throw the plastic thing in the compost. It's kind of not a good.
Yeah, that
setup.
sounds.
They won't let us put any, even though there's compostable bags or anything. They won't let us put those in the compost. It has to just be food, food and nothing else.
Okay.
Wow.
But
See,
my
I didn't
actual
know that
thing that
either.
I had planned was because Kevin did a review on this because his wife bought this and Barb does not buy anything that's smart. It's a smart kettle. And I never even, I mean,
That makes
I
it
use
sound
a
like she
kettle.
only buys.
I only buy dumb things.
No, she just, anything that's connected. Barb is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
She only buys terminals.
So what is this kettle?
this is the Govee smart kettle. And I don't know if I would have chosen the Govee just because it is a Chinese company. They do have good privacy policies. I don't know about their,
but this
Wait. What can they know
Security
about your
policies.
tea?
Well, it's on your network. I'm less concerned about the privacy policy
It's
and
an
more.
app.
Well, and also
Security is
if
really
you're-
the big issue. Anytime you put anything on your Wi-Fi,
yeah,
it has
So
the
this
great
is a Wi-Fi
pour-over kettle spout, though. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
It has that gooseneck spout.
yeah.
But this is I want this. You can tell Amazon or Google power on the kettle to like whatever temperature you want. And it'll just you can also remotely start it from the app, but who wants to open an app to start?
So you just want to make
kettle?
sure there's always water in it, obviously, but
Yes.
it's induction, so it won't
that's-
burn or anything.
Yes. And apparently Kevin he said his turned on when there was no water in it, but Govee says that it won't stay on. So
Yeah,
Kevin
I
may
think
not have
that's
tried
probably
for
right.
long enough.
Yeah.
So does it not boil over as well? Because that's my problem with my gooseneck. Sometimes I forget a few minutes.
There's a
like,
max
the
fill
water's
line,
boiling.
and you don't want to fill over the max.
And it will
fill.
turn itself off when it boils. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't continue to boil. That's
Okay.
the beauty of this. But ours, we have a Breville kettle. It's not online, but it does all of that. But the one thing it doesn't do is turn on when you're in bed. You have to get up and
Well,
push
and
the button.
Kevin created a good morning routine, and now as part of that, it turns the kettle on to heat the water. Which
Did he write it
Also
in
part of his
Python?
ice shower.
Yeah.
Leo
ice
wakes you up and tells you that the tea is on.
Good morning, sir. The tea is on. The world is fresh and bright.
Your cold shower is
Your
ready
cold
for you.
shower
I need a
awaits.
Jeeves. I need a Jeeves.
and the price for this is Barb got it for $65. I think it's on sale most of the time. It's like $70.
It's $80, but I see a
$70.
$15 coupon on my Amazon.
Yeah.
So I think you could get it for what Barb got it for, $65.
Yeah.
Nice. The Govee Smart Electric Kettle. Mr.
I
Jeff
think
Sharp.
Fellows makes. Oh, sorry. I was going to say I think it's a knockoff of the Fellows kettle, which is like
Oh.
$165.
Oh,
So there you go.
nice. Govee makes life smarter.
Okay.
They make a lot of knockoffs.
Oh, really? The
Oh,
Kings,
yeah.
they have an electric space heater, smart humidifiers.
Their lights are like all of their smart lights are like straight up Hue replicas.
Oh, wow. China.
All
Amazing.
the China.
Oh, they're amazing. Mr. Jeff Jarvis, give us a number.
So I just today I got the typeset version of the book. I now get to spend my weekend reading my words again and again and again. And you know how much I love serifs. We talked about this. Oh no, it's not.
It's too bright. I can't. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Oh.
So I love serifs. I use the Dubs font and the Sabin font from here with advice from Glenn Fleischman.
I think for books, I
Um,
think you should have a serif font. I do.
I think you should.
Yeah.
But the State Department has is going to phase out Times Roman in favor of the serifless Calabri 14 point. And it's a good thing.
Serif.
well, I don't know about
I know.
that.
It's because it's for accessibility.
Oh,
Ah.
okay. Okay.
Secretary Blinken sent a cable. They're still sending cables. Sent a cable to all embassies today, directing staff not to send him any more papers with Times New Roman. The subject, the Times New Roman are a changin'. They want you to use Calibri, which used to be a cigarette lighter, but I guess now it's a sans serif font in 14 point. There is actually a new font designed by the Braille Institute to be more legible for people with low vision. And actually, I bookmarked it because I'm a font, like you, like Glenn Fleischman. I'm kind of a typeface guy. I like to collect typefaces. Let me see if I bookmarked it so I could download
There's also
it
one
later.
that's being recommended for the dyslexic.
Yeah, and I don't like that one because it's very much modified. It's for dyslexic people, but I think, let me see, the Braille Institute font actually is very usable. They recommend it for websites and others because it's called the Atkinson Hyperlegible font, and it's free. And they show as an example, this is the font above, but if you have low vision and it's very blurry, you still can distinguish, for instance, the one from the capital I from the lowercase I from the L.
I see.
You see? But it's a good font that anybody would use for anything because it's a good sans serif font. But if you wanted to make it accessible for people with low vision, this Atkinson Hyperlegible is available from the Braille Institute. 4 fonts, 2 weights, 1,340 total glyphs, and accent characters for 27 languages. So I think that's a good thing for the Braille Institute to do. So speaking of fonts, Calibri. I don't like Calibri, to be honest.
I'm not crazy about it either.
Yeah.
Isn't it does Microsoft use it a lot? Or
Yeah, I think it comes with Windows. Yeah. This is a subject we could go on and on about, but programmers collect monotype face fonts for their programming, and we all have very strong opinions. I am currently
What? Programmers have strong opinions?
I am currently a fan of Iosevka. Don't tell me otherwise. Aunt Pruitt, what's your pick of the week?
Oh, man. Well, my pick of the week is a book that I've been listening to because I've had a little bit more time since Project Hail Mary was one that I had already read. And I'd been off of social media, so I had more time. And I wanted to check out Tom Segura's book, I'd Like to Play Alone, Please.
Oh, I like him. He's funny.
Very, very funny comedian. Yeah. He tells a bunch of funny stories in here, including his journey to being a big stand-up comic now, and gives all the details of how he got started and the pain and trauma of that, and funny anecdotes as far as how we are as people socially, and do some really quirky things, and you can turn it into comedy if you want to.
This is on Audible, so you're listening to him. Let me play a little bit of it so you can hear his voice.
He narrates it,
because you'll know when you hear his voice.
We have different middle names.
Maybe
so I'm not a junior. Something he's pointed out to me, his own son, no less than 4,000 times.
I like it when comics do their own books. It just comes alive. I love it.
And it also has some PDFs in it if you get the audio version, where you can pull it up in the app and look at some of the pictures that he's describing with hanging out with celebrities and whatnot. It's a pretty funny book so far. I'm almost done with it. It's fairly short.
His last book, Thrilled, has my favorite cover.
I never saw that.
It's a
Playgirl pose.
It's
a Michael Jackson Thriller
album.
Yeah, it's a takeoff of the Thriller album, and he is not exactly a Michael Jackson supermodel.
He's not a svelte man.
Not a svelte man.
He's so funny. His dad is a white man and his mother is Peruvian. So he tells a lot of stories about their relationship and him growing up learning to speak Spanish, and just being in the South and having that dynamic with his family. It's all pretty funny stuff. So
now this other one, I think you just put this in because you're trying to get me to take a cold shower.
Well, speaking of cold tubs, I talked about Kevin Hart the other week. Well, I've been diving into, because YouTube knows how to recommend to me because I do thumbs up on things. And he has this show on LOL Network called Cold as Balls, where he interviews celebrities, but they do the interviews in a locker room. And there's a cold tub, and they start out with their feet in the cold tub. As the interview goes on, they sit down in the cold tub. And as it goes further along, they fully put the water all the way up to their neck in the cold tub.
This is a whole genre of podcast where you torture your guests.
Torturing the guest, yeah.
And I really, like the hot ones.
It's so good.
The cold ones.
I preferred your wine version last week. Yeah.
It's so good, though. It's so good because Kevin Hart is so funny. But I love his premise. He says, you know what? You're going to be in this cold water and you're going to say some stuff that's pretty funny. And
oh, my God, it looks so cold. I can't believe he would do this to himself. That's what I don't get. Oh, God, that looks awful. Just awful. Marshawn Lynch, he probably is used to it.
Those things are great. I'm telling you, those cold tubs are
with ice in it? That cold?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I'm sitting here looking at that now and thinking, man, my elbows would feel so much better right now.
Oh, I feel great. Nice and toasty and warm.
Yeah.
That's how my elbows feel. Good. Say, don't you get in that hot tub, that cold tub. I have a hot tub I get in, not a cold tub.
I get in a hot tub too, but man, something I don't want to see cold either. Tub.
When our boy when Michael sets the hot tub to like 102, I said, what's happening? It's cold. No. It's too cold. In the summer, for some reason, he sets it to lower temperature. I was like, I don't want it to be 100 degrees. That's cold.
What do you set your hot tub to?
Well, unfortunately, in the state of California, we can't set it to hotter than 104. And I've been begging hackers to come over and hack my tub because the hot tub should be 106, but they don't want me to die. I can have a bathtub that's 106, but I can't have a hot tub that's 106.
Yeah.
Huh.
Seems wrong. What do you set your hot tub to?
102 or 103 in the winter, and then
lukewarm. 104 is the max, summer, and I can't even set it. I think that's the legal limit. They won't let you.
I think so. Yeah,
because they don't want you to boil yourself to death.
It seems reasonable.
No, that's the nanny state telling me what I can do in my own hot tub. We need a Section 230 for hot tub temperatures. Protecting the right to boil.
California, man. Yeah, see, nowhere else in this country do you debate hot tubs. It is such a cliche. It is pure California cliche.
Reverb Mike says,
when I lived there, it was a joke, and it's still a joke.
I love my hot tub. Reverb Mike says, I set my hot tub to 1977. He's got a hot tub time machine. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done for the day. Thank you so much, Stacey Higginbotham. Stacey on IoT.com at GigaStacey. Don't forget her podcast with Kevin Toffel, the IoT podcast featuring Mr. Compost this week. So that'll be fun.
Oh, this week is not Mr. Compost. Next week is Mr. Compost.
Next week, Mr. Matt Compost.
Sorry.
At Compost. Well, this week, what's this week? Something great too, I'm sure.
It's a little bit more industrial.
Industrial.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. Sounds good.
It's the CEO of a company called Once. They have a really cool business model. That's all I'll say.
Love that theme song right there.
Look at this. Look at her discipline. 1 hour and 1 minute long. That is discipline.
This was a long show. Kevin and I were a little crazy this morning.
Did you feel bad because you went 1 minute longer than an hour?
1 minute over.
No, we aim to not go too far above an hour, though.
Listen to this. Hour before, 57 minutes. Week before, an hour, 3 minutes. Week before that, an hour and 1 minute. How do you do an hour-long podcast?
She's the Higginbot. She's a machine.
Wait, is that too long?
No, too long. How long is ours? I asked.
Well, we got twice as many people.
Oh, maybe that's why. That's a good excuse.
We all want our airtime.
Everybody has to
voices.
Talk.
Yep.
Thank you, Stacey. Jeff Jarvis, this cat right here, man. Frank Sinatra called him a bum. Ray Kroc called him a nickel millionaire. He lived in tomato fields in his youth. And he is trapped in the jungle gym of life.
But
furthermore, the director of the Town Heights Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig. There's a lot of Craigs in this. Craig.
Well, that was the
Graduate
original
School of Journalism. It's pretty. At the City University of New York. We thank our listeners for sending those in. Please send in. I would like a sea shanty version of Craig Newmark, if you don't mind.
That'd be nice.
Be good? Yeah.
That'd be good.
Aunt Pruitt hosts Hands-On Photography, twit.tv/hop. Hop on over and listen to the latest episode. What are you talking about this week?
Okay, I'm finally going to talk about another option for macro photography this week. I put it off last time, and this week that's going to be the discussion and save some folks some money to be able to take some cool macro photography shots.
Should I be saving up my toilet paper rolls just for this episode?
No toilet. No
toilet paper and tin foil.
No right. TP rolls
okay.
required, sir.
Okay,
just
good.
Get yourself a good flashlight, and we got some tips.
Excellent. And also is the community manager of Club Twit and does such a good job. We really appreciate that. We will be on Club Twit tomorrow, Lisa and I. I think you could take the day off. Well, Lisa and I can handle this, I think. It'll be fun to hear us fight, but you don't want to be there. You don't want to be in the middle of that. We will be doing that at 4 o'clock tomorrow Pacific, 7 Eastern. And I hope you will tune in for that, you Club Twit members. I thank you so much for tuning in for This Week in Google. We do This Week in Google every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2200 UTC. You can watch us do it live at live.twit.tv. Chat with us at irc.twit.tv. That's open to all, or in our Club Twit Clubhouse if you are a Club Twit member. We also have versions of the show for your listening pleasure after the fact. It's called a podcast. If you go to twit.tv/twig, you can download a copy there, or you see those buttons, you can subscribe in your favorite podcast player. There's also a YouTube channel dedicated to the program, and you can watch it there or listen to it there or share clips of it from YouTube, which is always a nice way. If you hear something you like and you want to tell your friends about it, just share a clip from YouTube so they can discover the goodness gracious that is This Week in Google. Well, folks, we'll be back next week if the good Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time on Twig. Bye-bye.
Don't miss All About Android every week. We talk about the latest news, hardware, apps, and now all of the developer-y goodness happening in the Android ecosystem. I'm Jason Howell, also joined by Ron Richards, Florence Ion, and our newest co-host on the panel, Wen Tu Dao, who brings her developer chops. Really great stuff. We also invite people from all over the Android ecosystem to talk about this mobile platform we love so much. Join us every Tuesday, All About Android on twit.tv.